lifestyle. Sports cards and we live now. Jeremy Lee in the building and every guest that you ever needed. Sports cards after hours keep the hobby heated. Updates, hobby talk like you never seen it. Sports cards live and none could ever beat it. Sports cards is a lifestyle. Sports cards and we live now. Welcome to another episode of Sports Cards Live with your host, Jeremy Lee.
All right, everybody, what is going on? Welcome to another episode of the PWCC Premier Auction ending watch party for May the 16th, 2024. My name's Jeremy Lee. Sorry about the glitch starting off. We had to redo the stream, but here we are. Adam, how you doing back there? You good? Can you see me? Can you hear me? All right. Welcome, everybody, to the show. We're going to just go ahead and bring out Mr. Adam Gray. Adam, it's been a month. How's it going?
Goes by real fast, man. I'm ready to talk about some cards. How are you?
I'm doing well. I am doing well. And I just want to make sure that this is going, that we are streaming and that people can hear us and see us. Let's get a comment into the chat by somebody. There's Jacob Dahl letting us know that we are good to go. Jacob, I appreciate that. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. And everyone else who's with us. Adam, it's been a month. There's lots of great items in the premiere tonight. You highlighted about 10 of them on your Instagram page today. I picked out my favorite. You picked out yours. How do you describe, if you will, tonight's selection? And before you do, I want to mention there are 108 items in the premiere tonight, but we're going to condense it down to 70 sports card singles. We're not going to look at the Pokemon and the non-sports like that. We're going to talk and look at the sports card singles. That's what you and I love. That's what we enjoy. That's what we buy and collect. So that's what we will definitely talk about. I want to get your thought, just overall thoughts and feelings on tonight's auction. If you were to describe it, how would you do so?
Every single auction that we've gotten to cover has been huge. So I would use all of those words to describe what it normally is. When I think about this auction, there are a few cards that are going to be the stories of the auction. One is a card that's close to $500,000 right now, and that's the PSA 10 1980 Topps card, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and Julius Erving. And then the other thing is this is the first time we've gotten to see a Victor Wembanyama gold prism card move at public auction, and that's a huge deal. Last month, you'll remember the big story of the month by far, the way that we'll remember it was the Black Shimmer one of 1 month. And so I think today will probably be the Victor Wembanyama gold month. I think that's probably how we'll think about it, but maybe I'm wrong. We never know until we get to this night, because you know this, Jeremy, half of the people who are serious about the auction haven't even placed their bids yet. Haven't placed any bids yet. So we'll see what happens tonight.
We will certainly want to say hello to Craig's Cards, Jerry Melnick, Jacob, thanks for being here. Bob Newport, good evening. Bob, big night. Do you have a card in the auction you're bidding? Let us know. Jeff McMahon is here. Jason Newman, good evening to you. Oh, I remember Jason from last time. Isn't that right? Was he your friend who we were? So. Maybe not. My bad.
Jason recently wrote a piece for Basketball Card Fanatic that is coming out this month. So Jason's one of my favorite young guys in the hobby, and so it's good to see him here on the chat today.
Why don't you just take a minute and talk about Basketball Card Fanatic? I mean, you're coming up on 3 years, if not already 3 years of the magazine, Adam. Coming up on 4 years of the magazine. That's incredible. How do you, I'm curious, basketball guys, bcfmag.com. bcfmag.com is where you can go if you'd like to subscribe to the magazine. Adam's got most of the issues behind him right there. That looks like to be one of the most recent issues. But tell us, how's it going? Pretty quick if you can. And, what can people look forward to if they are going to subscribe?
Basketball Card Fanatic is one of the most wonderful things that I've worked on in my life, because it's all about, people describe things that are a passion project, and they don't always describe something that's a real passion. But to write a magazine in 2020 when we started, it's got to be like the worst business idea ever. It's terrible. There's so many more effective ways to communicate than a magazine. But it was never about making ourselves multimillionaires. It was about giving people an avenue to really enjoy the hobby, specifically basketball cards. And so every month we have 32 to 36 pages of crazy hardcore collectors writing and discussing things that are important to them. And this month, Jason talked about something that I really liked. And so went into the magazine and we put it together every month, and subscribers love it. I wish I could say, Jeremy, that we had 10,000 subscribers and I was going to be able to retire off of BCF, but the truth is we have less than 500 print subscribers. And
good stuff.
Dude, it's awesome. I love it. It's like I have subscribers that ask me every month, like, when's the magazine going to be here? Because they love it so much. It's nostalgia. It's fantastic, and I think that a lot of people love it, and so I love it too.
Covers are great. I love receiving it myself every month.
Oh, and let me thank PWCC for being our lead sponsor. PWCC every month is our lead sponsor, so I'm grateful for them.
Awesome. And let's say hello to the Essential Credentials podcast. What's going on, fellas, from that podcast? Check them out on their YouTube channel. All right, well, let's get into it. Let's go to screen share mode, guys, and let's start looking at the items that are up at auction in the Premier this month. And we have it sorted by featured. This is the default. We have 16 and a half minutes, guys, until extended bidding begins. That's going to start at 7 o'clock Pacific, 10 o'clock Eastern. And you can see right here, we have about 16 minutes until extended bidding begins. It is all access, but get your bids in as you are comfortable. And a quick hello to Orlando from the Collector's Dream YouTube channel. Always happy to see Orlando, a past guest on Sports Cards Live. All right, Adam, you mentioned at the outset, we have a big card to lead things off. The rookie card of Larry Bird and Magic Johnson with Julius Erving in the middle. And this is 1980 Topps. It is a PSA 10. It has the PWCC top 30% eye appeal rating. That's incredible. And is currently at $380,000 plus buyer's premium. Now, Adam, I went and did it for about 3 cards tonight. I went to cardladder.com, and I brought up some of the information. I thought this would be interesting. You can see right here, this is a pop 23 in PSA 10. And we have some prior sales of this card on the right-hand side here. The last one sold December 2nd for $488. Before that, on June 14th last year, $516, $522, $660, $840 back on the Premier auction 2 years ago, and so on. Another one for about $800,000. But the last one did sell for $488. Adam, pop 23. We're at about $450 right now. What are your thoughts? We just saw this thing had sold for $800,000. We're now at about half that today versus the peak 2 years ago. You know, number one, this is a great card. It's not a hard card to find, but it is hard to find in Gem Mint, in a PSA Gem Mint 10 holder. Adam, what are your thoughts on this card today as from an iconicism perspective and just availability and importance?
I think it's pretty clearly, to me, the second most iconic basketball card ever made. It's just behind the 86 Flair Jordan, and it's ahead of everything else. It represents a whole era. It's the card that was on the front of the box, and it has so many things going for it. But the thing that I tried to highlight this month when I was researching it for a reel that I did for PWCC is that a lot of people feel like this card is not in good condition because it's been destroyed by either perforating the card or because it was damaged out of the pack. And certainly there are a lot of those cards. But the thing that I don't think people understand, I know you understand this, people don't understand how impossible this card was to get in Gem Mint condition straight out of the pack. And so I think if you open 50 boxes of this right now, you wouldn't get a Gem Mint copy of this card because there's so many things that went wrong with it. In a lot of the copies that you look at, you see dark color on the white, or you see what we call snow white flecks on the color. In a lot of them, you see perforations that aren't centered within the player's pictures, and cards that aren't centered. And in even more, you see whole areas of color, like around the border, the blue and green and what is that, pink, that are sort of splotchy. And so I don't think people realize this card had to both be handled perfectly over the course of the last 40 plus years, but more importantly, it had to come out of the pack perfectly. And because of everything that went on with it, there just aren't very many of those. And so we have a period where the last couple years, several have sold, but leading up to that, fewer had sold. It was a rarer card to see at auction. So people might think, oh, I've seen this in the last year or two, but it wasn't always that way. So it really is a big deal that it's at auction tonight.
Yeah, I mean, and as I zoom in and scroll around the card, it looks to be in like impeccable condition. The corners, the edges. I like that the perforations are right down the middle of the two, the green and the pink here and the green and the blue here. Sometimes the perforations are offset from center, which I don't think is as aesthetically pleasing. Top to bottom centering looks to be bang on to me. Right to left, it might be a hair to the right here. This border over here might be a hair smaller or narrower than this border over here. We're also missing the snow, as you said, which is key to me. We're also missing some of that black, like the errant ink that you'll see in certain areas of the card, often in this area over here. So a great copy. And as I went back to Card Ladder here, you can see there's only 23 PSA 10s. PSA has graded this card 15,000 times. Only 23 10s. That is like a 0.1%. Well, a 0.15% gem rate. That's incredibly low. That's 1 in every 1,000 or so, just under that, something like that. You can see even PSA 9, there's 628. That's a big number compared to 23. You are in exclusive territory if you are picking up this PSA 10 card tonight. And we are at 380 right now, plus what's that? Plus 76. So we are just over 456 or so right now out the door, Adam.
Last thought for me on it is that you highlighted that one that sold for 880,000 during the pandemic peak at PWCC. I took a look at that one before the show. It didn't receive the eye appeal sticker, and part of that might be that the perforations weren't perfectly centered on that copy. Oh, you're pulling it up now. That's great. So you can see what I was saying.
Yeah. So, here is the card that sold for 840. And as you can see the perforations are off center. They are closer to the green here, closer to the pink over here. Centering seems to be similar to the one that we have tonight, but this one is different. This one is not as good, in my opinion, as the one we have tonight, because the non-perfect centering of these perforations, which I have a feeling, Adam, that a lot of collectors, a lot of discerning buyers of this card in any grade often don't look at the perforations. They're simply looking at the centering of those three images, the Bird, the Irving, and the Magic on the card. But you can go another level as far as centering goes when it comes to this card and look at those perforations. And I advise people to do that moving forward, whether you're shopping tonight for the card or you're shopping in the future for the card. I think that's pretty good stuff right there. Okay, quick hello to Hodges1455 and Robert Scott. Good to see you guys. Welcome to the show. I want to also welcome everybody watching on X right now. Thank you for joining us. And as well, everybody on Instagram who's popping in and out. Looks like we've already had about 100 or 2 people come through there. So thank you, everybody. Mr. Fosh is in there, just stopping in to say hi. Not able to watch live with us, but good to see you. Steven, thank you for checking in over there. Card Vibe is here. What's going on, Card Vibe? And MSG Collectibles as well. Good evening, everybody. And again, welcome to the show. Adam, next up, 2020 Flawless Triple Logo Man, Anthony Edwards, Halliburton, Tyrese Halliburton, and LaMelo. Adam, I think this is important. You obviously know more about basketball than I do. Tell us about this piece and the players involved. We're at $80,000. That's 96 out the door.
Do you remember when the triple LeBron was like the biggest story in the hobby for like 2 months?
Oh, yeah.
So there's that card, and then I think there's 4 other cards in the set. And this is one of those other 4 cards. They're all one of ones. This was the rookie triple. So what's crazy about this one is that usually when a card company tries to project who the 3 best rookies from a class are going to be, usually they get it wrong. This one might be right. Like they got Edwards and Halliburton, who are both fighting for their playoff lives. Right now, Edwards is, fighting, trying to beat out the Nuggets to force a game 7, and Halliburton's going to do the same thing for Indiana tomorrow. And then Ball, you might want to replace him maybe with Maxey, but Ball still has such incredible talent. I'm not sure that's true. I'm not sure you would want to replace him with Maxey. So it really is 3 of the best 4, at least, rookies, all from the same class, from a set that already has a multi-million-dollar sale. The question obviously is, who are these 3 players going to be, and how confident are you that they'll be great? Some people just love the triple logo mans, Jeremy. I know you and I probably aren't as high on him as a lot of people are, but to some people, this is the peak, the best you can possibly get out of a card. And if that's the case, and if Anthony Edwards is going to be the face of the league, which a lot of people believe he is, then it's a card you got to look at really seriously.
It's a pretty cool card. I remember when we had the triple LeBron, the whole hobby was going crazy with that. It was all the talk on the hobby airwaves for quite some time. And so if I understand what you said, in Flawless, they're gonna do a triple logo man with the best rookies, or who they feel are the best rookies. But are they always going to also do something like they did with LeBron that year? Like, they're all like, how does that work?
I don't know if they always will, but when they were constructing this first checklist, because this was, and this is another thing we should highlight, this was the first time they did the triple logo man. Exquisite did it back in the day, but Panini never did it until 2020 Flawless, and they did it with these first 5 cards. The other 3 cards are like sort of random mix match. There's like a Golden State Warrior triple, which makes sense, okay. And then there's like 3 random young stars and 3 random old stars. So this obviously isn't as good as the LeBron triple. And I think personally, I would probably take the Warriors triple over this one, but I think this one's a solid third card out of the set. And then the question obviously becomes, like, where does it land in the Anthony Edwards pantheon of great cards? And that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, no, interesting stuff. It's pretty cool card. You're getting the 3 logo men, 3 featured rookies, and the design it's pleasant. The design is nice. I'm sort of neutral on it myself. Don't love it, don't hate it. It's a nice looking card. All right, but the big one on the top, the big one, that might be the big one right there, being the Bird Magic. But the one I'm most interested in, I think you too, Adam, is the Victor Wembanyama Panini Prism Gold out of 10. It's a BGS 9.5. It is a Pop 1. It's sitting at $100,000 right now, Adam. And we were talking before we went live, we saw the Black Shimmer sell last month for just over $500,000. Now here tonight, we've got the gold out of 10 at $100,000. Now there's 10 of these that exist. There's 1 Black Shimmer. The Black Shimmer isn't even the best black Prism card, I don't think. So, if you want to divide 500,000 by 10 to really prorate it based on population only, which we can't, that's not how the hobby works. But if you were to do that, the gold would be at about 50, but it's not. It's at 100 because number 1, it's gold. Number 2, that wasn't the most important black Prism 1 of 1 ever. It was the shimmer, not the natural black. And more people can afford this card. So we're going to see the bid go up. I love the looks of this of Prism Golds, and I think this is a humongous card. I don't know that I can make a prediction of where it's going to end tonight. Out the door, it's at 120,000 right now. I could see this thing going up to 150 to 200, though. Don't call that a prediction. Call that a range. I don't know. What do you think, Adam? What does your gut tell you on this card?
I don't feel comfortable predicting a range either. The thing that I would say is that the shimmer appealed to a giant rainbow collector or a 1-of-1 collector. It's probably third, and we talked about this last time on the show. We actually had the conversation last time. For those who are joining, who were also here last month, we talked, would you rather have a true gold? We didn't know this was coming, but would you rather have a true gold or would you rather have the black shimmer? And we pointed out, look, there's the true black that's ahead of the black shimmer, and then there's the nebula. And so that the black shimmer came third in that stack of 3. So what would you rather have, that or this card? And people who are putting together the rainbow might want that one. But people who want there's just a lot of gold collectors near me, like you just talked about. So which one is worth more? I think the fact that there was only 1 of the shimmer probably lends itself to that by quite a bit. But what one would I rather have? I'm a gold collector. I like the card out of 10. I like that it goes back 11 years. And so I'm with you. I love the aesthetics of it too.
Yeah, me too. I would rather own the gold than the, you know why? Almost part of it is due to like camaraderie, Adam. Like if I had one of these 10 Prism Golds, I could now maybe find out who owns the other 9. And maybe, you know, we have a camaraderie among us. It's a 10 of us in an exclusive club instead of one person owning the Black Shimmer. It can be lonely at the top for that one person. I'd rather be hanging out with some buddies and we all have the same, or whatever, you know, acquaintances even, and we all own the same card. Awesome top row right there. All basketball guys. Let's check out the next row and see what we have. 2 basketball cards and a baseball card. We've got the 1998 Skybox, the Molten Metal Fusion Titanium, Michael Jordan. It's out of 40. It's a PSA 8. It's a Pop 3 with 4 graded higher. This is a card where only 40 of these rare Jordan 90s cards, guys, you just want to own it. It doesn't really matter if there's 4 graded higher. They're all nice. An 8 is nice. A 9 is nice. Even a 7 can be nice on a card like this. It's an amazing, amazing card. It's screening 150,000 right now, 180 out the door. But Adam, I want you to, you know, you did an Instagram post recently, last week, I think, where you talked about how the naming convention of these cards was very complicated. I certainly don't want you to go through that whole thing right now because it'll take too long, and you did it on Instagram. People can go check it out there. But you make to summarize, you make the point that this thing it doesn't look like what a titanium card looks like. Titanium cards often look silver. This looks gold. It should have been named Skybox Molten Metal Fusion Gold. That would have made a lot of sense to me. And that's what I'm referring it to now because that describes the card better and it keeps me in line with what it is and doesn't confuse me. So anything you'd like to say about that again without describing the whole format of the set?
I won't go through it all because it would bore a lot of the people who are here. But for those people who are interested in like bidding on it, I would definitely watch it. It's the longest reel I've ever done. It's 3 minutes long. I just want to show you one thing that will be helpful though. Can you make the card big real quick? And as you're making it big, Skybox made a mistake. And the mistake that they made is around this logo that Jeremy's right down here next to where it says Titanium Supernatural. All of the cards, they accidentally made the gold version and the silver version say the same thing for each player. And so this was supposed to say one thing and the silver was supposed to say something else. They all say the same thing. And so nobody knows what to call the cards. Like, nobody has any idea. And what it says on the packs, Jeremy, it's so confusing. And so like if you're saying titanium for one card, it means it for one, but not for the other. So just forget all that and call it gold because all of the golds that are in this 20 card range are numbered to 40 and all of the silvers in that same range are numbered to 250. And that's all you need to know. Gold and silver. That's it. That's all you need to know. But people get confused with the long names and they're like, what are you talking about? And so just gold and silver.
Awesome card. Awesome card. Vintage Card Collector says, what do you guys make of the bottom right corner on the titanium Jordan? So let's zoom in on that because it is graded near mint 8, which probably makes sense to me. I'm seeing a touch of white on the top left corner here, a touch on the top right corner there. Hard to tell. A few little spots throughout the card. Nothing too crazy though. Bottom left corner looks good. Bottom right corner, yeah, we're seeing something there. But you know what? If I zoom right in, what I'm seeing, I think that's I don't think that's a problem with the card. And the reason why I say that is if you look closely, I can see this lightning come past the card. You see it right there. I'm circling with my mouse right there. You can see it there as well. I don't know that is actually on the card. I think what we need to do is go into it, Adam. Let's have a look and just try and see if we can figure that one out for sure. So let's go into the 360 view. We don't have the 360, but we have the video here. So we're going to click on that and let's, no, I don't, it's too small here. Let's just look at it here if we can. It's really hard. I know it's small. And now we're looking at the back. So I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I don't think that's actually on the card. It very well might be though. So it's really
not. I have it blown up real big on my phone.
Yeah.
You're 100% right. That's like a light spot. And we've seen these little squares before. Jeremy, you and I have talked about it that sometimes show up on the PSA holders. It might be that, or it might be a scuff on the case. I'm not sure about that, but I can say, like, the fact that it extends, you said it perfectly. The fact that it extends over the card, that's not on the card at all. And so to me, it looks like it's appropriately graded as an 8, which is, it's a great condition for this card. You might remember, Jeremy, this is like, I only use, this is my favorite Jordan card in the world. I love this card. I could go on and on about it for days, but I wouldn't not bid on this one, Vintage Card Collector, based on condition. I think what you're looking at is definitely on the case.
Yeah, and if it is on, and even if it is, like, these cards just don't come along very often. So listen, I'm not telling you to ignore condition. I'm telling you that on a card like this, if you are playing in this echelon of buying cards for like $180,000 plus, you want to know what you're buying for sure. And I would have expected that by now you might have reached out to PWCC and said, what is that? If you didn't, well, then you need to take your precaution right now and potentially not bid on it if you're fearful. If you think that it is not on the card, then have at her, go for it. Luongo Collector, want to say hello to you. And Luke at Bleecker Street Cards has 2 screens watching the basketball game and the show here. Thank you, Luke. Appreciate having you here for sure. Vintage does say, though, if that's on the case, I can't believe you wouldn't reholder it before selling it. Well, believe it. What else can we tell you? So everyone does things differently. Go ahead, Adam.
I love this comment because it's a really good talking point. Why wouldn't you reholder it? Well, can you think of any reasons?
I wouldn't want to pay them $20,000 to reholder my card again. I would not reholder it. If I was selling it, I would not reholder it. I would rather include that information in the description. I would not give PSA another dime of my money to do it again, because the card itself doesn't change. Just the holder changes. I'm not going to give them thousands and thousands of dollars just to put new plastic around the card. I know people love doing that on a regular basis, but you won't count me among them.
We all collect very differently, and I don't look down my nose at anybody who would like to do that, but I'm 100% on the same page as you. I have a personal rule. My personal rule is the card gets graded once. I don't ever send it in a second time. I'm never going to pay for something to be reholdered if something doesn't look the way that it should be. Now, I'm also going to tell you this, Jeremy, that might not be the smartest idea. There's a real chance, and this is a great point, and a lot of people make a lot of money on this, where you can take a card that needs to be reholdered, purchase it, reholder it, pay whatever that amount is, sell it, and then make more than what the reholdering fee was and the fees that you have to pay. That's a great business model if you're able to figure out how to do that, but that's not how I personally do the hobby. It's not interesting to me. I don't do it. It's not all about making the money, but to some people it is, and I don't blame them for that. I don't look down my nose at that. That's just what they do, but not for me.
Yeah, I generally do not either. Okay, let's move on. Great card, and good luck to the seller, the eventual winner, and everything like that. We've got a 96 finest refractor with coating. Kobe Bryant rookie just got a bid right now up to $25,500. It is a PSA 10. It's in gem mint condition. Let's take a quick look at this. It's a great card. Adam, we see lots of Kobe rookies. Where does this one fall? Oh, and before you do, Lantern Card says, do I have an affiliate link for this auction? I do. There it is. I just put it into the chat, you guys. Thank you, Lantern, for that. If you are bidding on any cards in the auction tonight, I would ask you to please use the link that I just put in the chat. If you can't click on it, just copy and paste it into a new window, and Sports Cards Live will receive a small commission. Although if you're buying the Molten Metal Fusion Titanium Jordan, we might receive a big commission tonight. So please, if you're bidding on any big cards or small cards, please click the link. Greatly appreciate it. And of course, it just lets PWCC know that you guys are watching and enjoying this content. Adam, back to this card here, 96 finest Kobe with coating. There's another Kobe rookie. I forget what it's called, but it's the gold one.
Yes, it's finest. It's a finest gold card.
They're fine. So how do those two cards, what is the relationship between those two cards, and where does this card rank for Kobe rookies?
This card came out in Series 1 and gold came out in Series 2. And so this one is kind of considered the true rookie card. And then, there were far more bronze cards than there were golds, but bronze refractors versus gold refractors, it might be pretty close. I would say as a raw card, this card isn't in the credentials top chrome top level, but it's in that second level with like the platinum medallion and the rubies and the precious metal out of Fleer metal. It's in that next group. What's special about this one though is that it's a PSA 10, and if you go look at the pop report, you can see real quick that's a low pop report for such a key card. The thing I would ask you on this, I'm not so good at telling colors. How is the greening on that card? Is it pretty clean, or do you see quite a bit of green?
The no green. Well, the word finest is in green, but it's supposed to be. I'm seeing no greening at all. Unless this is greening in here, but I don't know that it is, or if that's how it's supposed to look. I'm seeing no greening on Kobe or his uniform whatsoever. You're right, Adam. This population is very low. It's a pop 17 only. 17. That's it. That's extremely low. What were you?
17 out of what? It's a pretty big number, right?
Yeah. Well, let's see. I can tell you that as well. I'm just gonna go. I'm just on the PSA app here on my phone. This is card number 74.
It's got to be 800 to 1,000, something like that.
Yeah. Here we go. Card 74. There's several versions. So this is the refractor with coating. About 400 total.
Yeah. So then
395.
There's also there's the one without coating too that you could add to it and whatever. But the only downside of this card, in my opinion, is that it has the words over his face. I don't ever want to see words on face, and this is the problem that you non-coding guys have. You don't want that. But everything else about the card, color, the centering is a huge deal on this card. This one looks bang on. It has basically everything going for it except for the coating, which I would argue sort of takes away from the eye appeal a little bit. But look, beggars can't be choosers. Pop 17, you want one, you don't get a chance very often, and that's why it's at 25 grand or whatever it's at.
And maybe you buy it, you open it up, you take off the coating, you send it back, and hope in taking off the coating you preserve the 10. But I doubt anyone's going to do that. All right, let's keep on going. A beautiful T206 Ty Cobb red portrait, Piedmont back, above average eye appeal. This is from 1909 to 1911, $42,000. This is a stunning copy of the card. I'm just so curious as to how it looks zoomed in. So let's have a peek. Corners and edges, very nice. Registration, very strong. Centering is almost perfect. What a specimen that is right there on the Cobb. You know, there's I think 4 Ty Cobbs in the T206 series, you know, fronts, 4 different fronts. And the red portrait is among the more common. The green portrait is the less common of the 2 portrait cards. And you've got bat on and bat off shoulder. There might be a 5th one. I'm not exactly sure, but I do like this one kind of the best, Adam, because I do like the red better than green. And I also like it better because it's usually cheaper than the green, you know, grade for grade, because it's a rarer card. Beautiful copy right there. And whoever owns that after tonight is going to be very proud of it. All right, Adam, we've got a 2016 Panini Noir, a brand that you like. You like black cards with some gold autographs on them as far as eminence goes in basketball. This is similar. Panini Noir, spotlight signatures, Lionel Messi out of 25. It's a PSA 8, only 3 PSA 8s and only 1 graded higher. We're at 20,500. Not an easy card to see from this picture, but if you kind of look, you can tell that there is the gold autograph right there, numbered out of 25 right there as well. And I have to think, we have to open this one up, actually. We have to open it up because I want to see what this thing actually looks like in the light, and we should see that in the video here. And here you can see that there is more. Well, it's actually pretty darn dark and black there on the front. There isn't much more to it in the design. So I'll leave it to you guys to go have a look at. Let's skip across over here, Adam, to the 97 championship precious metal gems, Sean Kemp, PSA 9, a very strong grade, pop 1 graded higher, numbered out of 50 on the back, Adam. Tell us about the championship medal PMG. And I mean, listen, we know you've got the Michael Jordan. It's among your favorite cards. It's one of the best cards in the whole hobby. This is Sean Kemp. He's no MJ, but Sean Kemp had a pretty good run back in the 90s. I remember his rookie card in Skybox. The original Skybox had his rookie card. It was all the rage back then. Tell us about this Kemp and how you feel about it.
Well, I suspect I know who the seller is because the PSA 10 recently sold, and there's a fellow who's putting together the highest grade version of this set. And so I suspect he's selling it here, which is interesting because that also provides a moment where he won't be bidding on the card. And so it might sell for a little bit less than people might expect because he's not part of that. The fact that there's a 10 of the Kemp is crazy, right? I recently helped a friend sell one of the cards to this gentleman who's putting together the set. And it wasn't a common card. It was sort of a semi-star. But Jeremy, the card sold for an unbelievable amount of money. And I just highlight that because these cards are highly desired by not just that gentleman, but by others who are putting together the set. And the fact that this is the second best Kemp in existence is really significant. What can you tell me what the serial number is? Is it one of the last 5 or is it
I don't know. Don't know.
So that,
yeah.
A lot of the higher grade copies are from the last 5. I think 47 through 50, 46. Nobody's ever seen a 46 of 50 out of the set. It's probably still complete somewhere. But I wouldn't be surprised if this is one of the other ones. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Well, here, we're going to have a look right now, and then we're going to try and run through some of this. This is number 5 of
I'm wrong. Totally wrong. Totally wrong. So,
all right. So we've got in the middle here, we've got a 2015 The Cup Connor McDavid rookie patch auto, BGS 9, autos a 10. If we look at the subgrades, we can see we've got, look at this. This is a mint 9, but this is a mint 9 plus, plus, plus. Each plus represents a half grade on a subgrade over a 9. You got 3 extra half points on this. This is a very strong copy condition-wise as per Beckett grading when they graded it. The one thing I want to point out, number one, McDavid is best player in the world. I think we all agree on that. Autograph looks pretty good to me. Looks like it might be a little bit light in some places, but he tends to have a lighter autograph, I've noticed. But the patch, this is a 2-color patch. This card should sell at a discount compared to comps on this card because of all 99 copies, I believe only 3 are not 3-color. I believe only 3 of the copies of this card produced don't have orange in the patch, and this would be one of those 3. So maybe it's a scarcer. Maybe 2-color is more important because it's scarcer. I think you'd want that 3rd color. Nonetheless, this should sell at a discount compared to what the comps are on this card because of that. And I think it's a more economical way for somebody to get into a McDavid Cup RPA. This is his most important rookie card right here. Pretty cool to see it. The auto does grade out a 10. We're at 26,500 right now. Patrick Wayne loves the 9091 Skybox design. It is truly iconic. No doubt. I remember buying those when I was out in Australia in 1990. Okay, Adam, next row. We've got a Kobe credentials. We've got a Jordan Star 195 from 1984 Star. And then we got a Ferrari Topps Chrome F1 card at $7,000. $7,000, guys, for the Ferrari logo. And is this card? It's a Pop 1 in Pop 10. I'm not sure if it's numbered on the back. I have to think it likely is. Let's have a quick look at that. Is this thing numbered on the back? It doesn't appear to be.
Wow.
So this card is simply a Pop 1 PSA 10. Just got a bid now up to $7,250 for the 70th anniversary red. I don't know what the print run is on this. I'm not sure if they publicized that, but if anyone knows, please let us know. Pretty interesting to see, though. A lot of money, I think, for a card that has the Ferrari logo. Now up to 7,500. So there is action happening. But Adam, let's go back to these basketball cards here. We've seen plenty of these Kobe credentials. One of his coolest rookie cards that exists. 499 copies. We've got an acetate, kind of cloudy acetate layer that's embedded within the card itself, within this beautiful frame, the silver frame that's got some glitter to it, and numbered out of 499. Adam, talk about this, but also talk about the importance of this 84 Star Jordan that is not the 101. It's not the 101, which is the one everybody seems to want. Before you do, very quickly, Yitzhak tells us that red might be numbered out of 5. So thank you for that, Yitzhak. Adam, please tell us about these basketball cards.
Yeah, it would be great to have somebody else in the chat tell us more about this Ferrari card, because usually a red chrome is numbered out of 5, but it's not here. So I don't know if it's out of 5 or not. But I own a copy of the Kobe. I wish mine was a BGS 9 like this one is. Mine's an authentic from PSA, but it's one of like the most miscut products ever. I think you remember Gene from Marina Design talking about how they almost ended up nixing this whole product because so much of it was damaged. Actually, that might have been the next year. That might have been 97. The cards originally were just the base card is beautiful on its own, but this credentials with the all silver in hand, it's just one of the best looking cards ever made. It's this, to me, it's this and the chrome refractor that are 1 and 2. And this card has gained steam over the years because why? Because this one doesn't turn green. So I love it, man. I don't think I'll ever sell my copy. I really don't. It's such a nice card. There's only 500. And Kobe rookies have dropped so much that, like, the funny thing is we saw a ton of these for a little while. This is the first 9 we've seen at auction in a while that I remember anyways.
Yeah, great looking card. It is just a beauty, absolute stunner of a card. It's a mint 9. Everything's 9, but surface is coming in at 8.5. Yeah, wonderful card overall. Adam, tell us, okay, for me, listen, I am now at a point where I think that the 84 star card number 101 Michael Jordan is the Jordan rookie card. To me, that's his rookie card. 86 Fleer. I'm going to continue to call it a rookie card. It's a rare case where I'm just willing to say they're both rookies. I know that doesn't really make sense, but I don't know how else to do it, because I don't want to be the one person who's like, well, it's not a rookie card when everyone else says it is yet. How can you, I say it kind of sounds silly. To me, I think they're both very important cards. The Star 101 and the 86 Fleer Michael Jordan. They're both the 86 Fleer is it's the most iconic basketball card ever, even though it's not, in my opinion, a real rookie card, but we all call it a rookie. So I'm just going to join the masses and say that too. To me, they're both kind of rookie cards. I don't know. We got to talk about it a bit more. My point is that as far as 84 star goes, the 101 is the most important card. This is card number 195. It shows him in a USA jersey, 1984 gold medalist. I think that's a big difference, is he's not in his Bulls jersey like he is on the 101. But I ask you, as a basketball expert, the editor-in-chief of Basketball Card Fanatic magazine, where does this card, or how does it rank compared to the Star 101? Why does the 101 get all the love, and this one, it's almost $20,000 here? It doesn't get no love, but it doesn't get as much as the Star 101. Would basketball collectors want all the Star Jordans from 84, or do they just want that one, or do some just want this one? How is it recognized by basketball collectors, please?
It's a tale as old as time. It's a subset from the same set, right? So this one, you remember, if you looked in the old Beckett's, this one had OLY next to it, and I think for a long time it actually had XRC next to the OLY for Olympic. It has the same problems as the 101, where it's just almost all of them are crushed by centering issues. And so I helped a friend move a collection a couple of years ago, and he had one of these, and he had one of the last card in the set is a blue border card too. That's also MJ. Those are the only 3 cards in the original 84 base set. The 101, this, and that blue bordered card. So if I was like the world's biggest Jordan collector, I would certainly view the 101 as a more important card, because I know the base card is always the best card from a rookie year. It always is. It's tale as old as time. But this is like really cool. It's 2 years older than the 86. It's so much rarer, right? Like, look at the pop reports, compare them. It's so much rarer. In fact, far fewer of this card have been graded than the 101 has. And because it has that consistent centering issue, you just don't find it in very high grades. And that's why PSA is graded, I don't know how many of them at this point, a couple hundred probably, and there's only a few 10 or only a few 8s, and there's none higher. The thing I'd point to that's kind of a little bit of a negative to some people is you look at that space around the card. This is like that one that we talked about last month, where because it's a a card that sometimes is a little bit shorter. PSA, I feel like, had to put it in this case that had the sleeve on it. Some people don't like that. I don't really mind it, but some people don't like it.
Yeah. I think I'm becoming a little bit more forgiving on that. It just depends how much it moves around and such. And with their announcement of the new holder, I think they've taken care of that. This is a PSA 8. This is the highest graded, by the way, by PSA. There are no 9s or 10s. There are 10 PSA 8s out of a total of 197 graded.
That's pretty good.
10 out of almost just over 5% get a PSA 8, and there's only 10 of these in existence, Adam. That's why it's sitting at almost $20,000 right now. So yeah, great card.
I had a 7 of this that I sold for $7,000. So yeah. I mean, it's a huge card in an 8. Huge card.
So I want to go to Luke comment. Luke, thank you for repeating yourself. Says the Kobe credentials, this card right over here, guys, is a beauty. A PSA 9 sold for $90,000. He thinks this is a steal at 16.5. And I'm not vetting what Luke is saying. I don't doubt him, but if that's the case, and depending on when that PSA 9 sold for $90K, this could easily be an absolute steal.
Hey, Jeremy, real quick. I bought a PSA Authentic for $10,000 in 2020. Guess what I sold it for?
How much?
I sold it for $40,000 for an Authentic. At one point, the 9 was close to a 6-figure card.
Wow.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy. Yitzhak gives us some more information on the Ferrari card. He says the 2020 set is the first year for F1. The 2020 set is the first, although the card is not numbered, it would be an SSP. Also, with the set being notoriously hard to grade, a PSA 10. I think he clarifies here. Thank you. Robert Scott says Star 101 is also bull. Yeah, we just said that as well, Robert. Thank you for reiterating. And Brendan Ryan says, I always see the red border, but isn't there a black border version of a Star card? I think that's might be what he's asking about. Adam, do you know?
Brendan.
Let's not spend too much time on it. Actually, that card, the black one, is in the auction, so we're not even going to talk about it. We're going to move on. We've got a 2005 exquisite limited logos, LeBron James, numbered out of 50, BGS 9. Beautiful card, Adam. Beautiful patch. Look at that 3-color patch. Let's have a look at this autograph, guys. Let's get in on the auto here. Beautiful autograph. Looks perfect to me. Card's in great condition. Amazing patch right there. It's a mint 9. You got 295 centering edges, corners 9, surface 8.5. Adam, we are sitting at a bid of 16,000 right now. It's about 19.2 out the door. That seems okay to me. Where does this card fall for you as far as limited logos goes and LeBron auto patches?
Some people feel like it's the nicest looking set. I just love holofoil, and it was the first. They did holofoil the year before, and so I like 04 so much more. But it's a nice big patch. I agree with you. It's a really strong 3-color multi-break patch. The autograph on this card looks really good too. I don't know, man. I think the limited logos have come down so much on somebody like LeBron that I look at that card now and I go, wow, that's not a bad buy for what it is at this point.
Yeah, I mean, these were going for close to 100K at one point in time, if I remember correctly. All right, keeping on going. We've got a beautiful 52 Mickey Mantle, not the 52 tops, though. This is the 52 Bowman, SGC 7.5, an exceptional eye appeal, which is the top 15% of copies to pass through the PWCC desk. And you look at this from here, guys. I don't know how this isn't graded higher. I'm not looking at the back. I haven't seen the back, but from here, without zooming in, this thing looks absolutely gorgeous. Let's zoom in now and see what we're missing. Corners and edges, I see nothing wrong with them. I see no reason to knock this off a 9 on the front of this card. There must be something going on surface-wise, perhaps something on the back. I encourage you to have a look yourself. This is an unbelievably sharp-looking copy to me. This would be from Chris Sewell's Blazer division as far as the niceness of the card goes. I love it. Second-year Bowman. His rookie card is the 51. This is the 52. An amazing card right there. And then we got another Noir Ronaldo auto out of 25. PSA 7. It seems to be the same card as the Messi up here, except different orientation. This is 20. That's 2016. This is 20. So they're both from the same set. You can knock off tonight if you want both the two of the goats, all-time goats in soccer or football. I got told that the other day when I was getting a shawarma from a place called Jerusalem Shawarma here in Calgary, and we were talking about we were talking about soccer, football. It's called football. In any event, you can knock off two of them tonight if you'd like, and a nice looking card. Adam, any thoughts on the Mantle or the Ronaldo?
I would just say, theoretical perspective, if you're going to ask the question, what's the autograph set of the Panini era? Straight autograph. I think you've got to look at the signature spotlights. Now, I'm with you. They should have used Hall of Foil on these cards so badly. Like, they would be so much nicer looking if they did. But I think the gold on the black still looks nice. I think the Ronaldo looks better than the Messi does. Ronaldo's got a better autograph than Messi does. It's just more aesthetically pleasing. But yeah, I wish they were in Hall of Foil, but I need to not let that cloud my judgment. It is in my opinion, it is the coolest signature set of the era.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's keep on going. Panini contenders, Jason Tatum, rookie auto, number 10 of 10. This is a good looking card, Adam. $7,000 right now. We got to open this guy up and take a peek. Oh, look at that auto. Beautiful on the surface here. I love this card. These ticket cards can just be gorgeous. And this has a 10 on the card and a 10 on the auto. Double dimes on this one. 7,000. Adam, Tatum, tell us about the card. Tell us about Tatum. How's he doing hobby-wise lately?
We might win the championship. It's probably, other than the Nuggets, the second one or two most likely to win the championship. But I'm with you. So when I worked full-time at PWCC, one thing I got to do every month was like go to their office and look at stuff in hand. I think one of the sets that really like surprised me the most was these contenders. And it just like it occurred to me as I looked at cards like this, there's not much better than an autograph on a really shiny refractory surface. And so if you were to get this one in hand, Jeremy, it's one that you would look at for a few minutes because I guarantee you the way that it shines with the autograph on it is really nice. And I have to give PSA some credit too. I think the way that cards, this type of card shows up in their holders is it's really nice. It's a beautiful look.
It is absolutely stunning. In the middle here, we've got the second year Larry Bird card, 1981 tops. It's in a PSA 10 holder, gem mint, sitting at $16,000 right now. And I did pull up Card Ladder on this card too. So let's visit cardladder.com right over here. And we can see that this is a pop 68, Adam, 68. Let's open this up and see how many they've graded. 10,634 copies, and only 68 have registered a 10. Meanwhile, in PSA 9 holders, there's 1,467, basically 1,400 more in 9s. And then look at the 8 pop, and then it goes down from there, 7, 6s, and so forth. So 68 out of 10,634 is, it's almost 0.5%. It's just higher than 0.5%, which is what, 1 in every 200 copies that are going to grade a Gem Mint 10. Very, very rare to see one of these, Adam. And I love the card because it's his first solo card.
Yeah.
1980, he shared with Larry, with Magic Johnson and Julius Erving. This is his first solo card, and it's his only first solo card. There's no other cards from that year for him. So I think it's an amazing card. I love it. I love everything about it, Adam. What about you?
I love that it's the set that made Topps stop making basketball cards. It did so poorly. They made cards from 69 to 81, and this was the last time they made basketball cards for a decade. They had this weird breakout with like East and West cards, and so Larry Bird has another card, but this is like the base card from the set. It's like you said, it's a tough grade, tough to find one that's centered. And if I remember right, once upon a time, I was at a show with you and you bought a Kevin McHale rookie from the set. Am I remembering that right? You are. That was the 2019 National
in Chicago, I bought that Kevin McHale rookie card. I actually bought that card from Gary V right out of his showcase at the show from this set. It's a great set. Magic Johnson's first solo card. Also, if you're gonna, if you want to pair up the first Magic and Larry solo cards, you can do it from 81 Tops, and you can get them in any grade and really enjoy them. Just such a cool card. Let's keep going though. This card here is like number one on my want list right now. 1933. This is the worldwide gum. I didn't notice it until right now. This is the worldwide. This is the Canadian version. This isn't even the Gaudy version. Even rarer in PSA 6. Lou Gehrig. And it's got the exceptional eye appeal as well. 9,250 right now plus BP. Amazing card. I love it. Now, a lot of people like the 1934 Lou Gehrig, which is a beautiful card, better portrait, nice yellow background, but this is the card that I want, either worldwide gum or Gaudy. I probably want the Gaudy, believe it or not, but this is such an amazing card. Absolutely stunning. Someone's going to be very, very happy.
Why do you want the Gaudy? You're a Canadian. What are you doing?
Yeah, because it's the one that it's just more mainstream, and I like that. I'm not somebody that needs the oddball, the odd stuff, like the rarest. It's like O-Pee-Chee baseball, very popular right now, very rare compared to Tops. I like to have I like the mainstream card.
They're basically identical except for you get some French on the back, right?
Yeah, and I don't speak French, so I like English. Yeah. So awesome cards, right? I want to say hello, welcome the professor to the show. Jeremy M says, "Go T-Wolves." I saw they were ahead early in the game. Where is that at now?
They're winning by a lot. That's all that matters. They're winning
93-63 with 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. It looks like the T-Wolves are gonna. Well, anything can happen, but they might tie up the series here 3-3, forcing a game 7. That would be very exciting to see for sure. All right, next row. Okay, we have an important Michael Jordan 97 insert, Flair Showcase, row 0. It's a parallel, it's an insert, it's everything. It's out of 250. It's a PSA 10, Gem Mint 10, and it's at $12,000 pre-buyer's premium right now, Adam. There is a copy of this. It's out of 100. I believe it's the row 0. What's
the legacy?
The legacy collection. Thank you very much. A very important card. This, but that one's going to cost you a lot more. This one, I've owned some of these before. They are gorgeous cards in hand. They have some really cool reflective qualities to them. Adam, why don't you just tell us what you think about this card? I'm going to look up the population, by the way, while you do that. Okay,
so here's what I think is most interesting about this card. I wonder what they wanted us to interpret this as. I believe that they wanted us to think about this like it was a base card. There are 3 rows. They don't show up like each other at all. They have totally different images. They have everything's different about the cards. And so row 1, row 2, and row 0. Row 2 is the easiest one to get. Row 1, in 97, I think there's 4 levels. Row 3, 1, 2, 1, and 0.
This year, there's a row 0, 1, 2, and 3. Row 3 is easily the most common. It goes backwards. Yeah. Row 0 is the toughest. That's this one. This is a pop 16 out of 78 graded. But just so you know, Adam, 78 of this copy graded. The row 1 is 414. Row 2 is 806, and row 3 is over 1,800. So this is by far the rarest, right?
Certainly the rarest. And then you get 4 different levels of legacies that I believe were all numbered to 100, as you said, that year. But the way that I used to look at this when I was a kid, and maybe I was just rationalizing, because also it's not the whole set that's out of 250, Jeremy. There's some that are 250, some that are 500, I think some that are 750, and some that are 1,000, maybe some that are 2,000 even, I remember. But that's of different cards in the set. This first section of the set are numbered to 250. And the way that I thought about it, maybe this sounds crazy, but there were 4 legacies, each numbered to 100. And so I actually rationalized in my mind saying it's harder to get a row 0 than it is to get a legacy. Now that's true. That's a true statement. There were 400 legacies. There were 200 row 0s. But because the legacies are each numbered out of 100 on their own, that has always been viewed as a better card. And I can see how you would like look at this and then the legacy and say, well, that's certainly the better card because it's out of 100. But the thing that I always loved about this set is I think it like Fleer wanted it to be a base set. The parallel wasn't the row 1, 2, 3. It wasn't like that. The parallel was the legacy portion. So some people, in fact, I've got a good friend named Steve who put this whole set together. He said, I look at it like it's a base set, and I like it as a base set, and I view it that way as like the rarest base set of all time at that point. And I looked at that and I went, I'm not sure I can argue with you on that.
Yeah, it's tough because back then numbering a card wasn't happening unless it was an insert, really. So to call it a base set now, unless there is no other base set in the product that isn't numbered, is there an unnumbered version of these cards?
There's no card that looks like that. It's unnumbered. No, there's not.
So in my opinion, they're kind of all inserts and parallels of the insert. If they came in packs that had other base cards in them.
That's how I've thought about it, but that's not how Fleer built it, and that's not how some people think about it.
But is it how Fleer inserted it into packs? Was this inserted one in every X amount of packs along with other base cards? Or did they take two totally separate products and mash them into the same packs? And that's why some people call this its own base set.
Yeah, good question.
Yeah, interesting. Either way, awesome card. Obviously, lots of discussion can be had about it. We also have a Patrick Mahomes National Treasures RPA, the hollow silver version out of 25 and a BGS 9 holder. Nice 2-color patch. You got the yellow stitching up at the top. That autograph looks to be absolutely stunning, though. That looks wonderful autograph. Great color, great pressure. Nice Mahomes auto right there. BGS 9. It's a mint condition card. Very nice copy at $34,000. Then we have a Ronald Acuna Jr. Topps Chrome Sapphire Red. Only 10 copies produced. This is a BGS 9.5 Pop 3. No 10s in the population. Gorgeous card right there as well. Topps makes some very nice cards. Continuing on. Couple of Jackies on the bookends here, guys. We have the 52 Topps PSA 6 right here and the 56 Topps PSA 8 right here in superior eye appeal condition, guys. That puts it in the top 5% of copies that PWCC has seen. Let's see what we think of that. Right away, corners and edges are beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I see nothing wrong with them. Registration, let's zoom in a bit more for registration. I don't see anything wrong with the registration. Maybe a slight offset of the yellow plate to the right. I am seeing that, but minor. It does not take away from the eye appeal whatsoever on this card. Centering is bang on. I completely agree. Without having seen several other of these where I can recall them, I completely agree with the eye appeal assessment on this card. I think it is a stunning copy on the front. Meanwhile, the PSA 6 1952 Jackie right over here. Look at that red. The red is very nice. A few little white, little bit of white coming, white snow in this area here, but that's it over there. Centering, obviously, not perfect. It is definitely set off to the left a little bit. Slight, I was going to say counterclockwise tilt, but we only see that on the top border. We don't see it on the bottom. I think that's just the way these things were printed, so I'm not going to penalize it for that. The centering is actually not that bad. Top to bottom, it's very nice. It is set a little to the left. Not too bad, though. Really a wonderful copy for a 6. I think that's almost a conservative grade. I mean, the edges and corners look great. Really nice. I almost think that's a conservative grade. Now, again, haven't looked at the back, so make sure you do that too. But Adam, those Jackies are nice. Do you have any comments on the Jackies?
Oh, they're both gorgeous. Always love to hear you break them down. And we don't see that 5% eye appeal sticker given in entire auctions sometimes. So it's really cool to see that one.
And especially on a card from 1956. We have a 2022 Immaculate Lionel Messi tag patch 101. Now we've seen some soccer cards tonight. This is by far the most beautiful, in my opinion, of the ones we've seen. Now, Immaculate, likely my favorite Panini brand. I think it just puts the others to shame in some ways. I don't want to take away from from Immaculate. I love that too, but I think that, it's so much nicer than National Treasures. Tag patch is kind of cool, pretty interesting. Autograph is great. It's a sticker auto. Keep that in mind. Tag autographs, beautiful, beautiful card overall with the blue. I believe that's a holo foil. Really nice copy right there, Adam. Let's keep on going though. We are into the second window of extended bidding right now. We have 2 minutes left in the current, that's going to reset every time we get a bid to the 2-minute mark. So let's keep on looking at cards, guys. We've got a 2020 Anthony Edwards NT RPA. This is the true RPA at a 99 BGS 9. This is a big card, Adam, especially right now. Look at this. Let's pop this one open, guys, and take.
He's having an unreal game tonight too, by the way, Jeremy.
How many points tonight?
I actually just looked at the plus minus. He's almost plus 50 for his team tonight, which is unheard of.
Unbelievable. He is sitting with 27 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 33 minutes on the court so far. So, but the plus minus is a big deal too. This is numbered 15 and 99. Autograph is wonderful. Patch is decent. You've got a little bit of, notice you got a little bit of blue coming off the side here with the stitching, the white mesh here, blue and stitching over here. You could pretty well call this a 3-color patch. These are 2 different blues, I believe, but they are very close. Mint 9. You got 395s though, corners, centering, and edges with surface at an 8.5. This is a great card for Anthony Edwards. If you like your NTRPAs, this one's great. And a quick hello, guys, a quick announcement. Rage is in the house, everybody. Welcome to the show, Rage. So, Adam, this Edwards NTRPA is pretty cool, but look at the Michael Jordan 2006 exquisite patch auto, numbered out of 100. Let's have a look at the auto and the patch on this. Nice 3-color patch right there. The auto is looking very strong still. Surface grades an 8.5. We're seeing all this action over here, Adam. We're seeing it over here as well. I can't believe that's on the card, though. I have to think that looks like typical Beckett slab scuffs, but I don't know for sure. What do you think?
Sure. 1,000%. And to the person who wrote earlier, why wouldn't you reslab it before selling it? Because it's costly to do so. But for sure, when you see it show up like this, you might even get a discount on the auction because that's the first thing that your eyes go to. What I would look at is I'd look at how blue the autograph is. I'd look at how nice the patch is. I'd look at what the subgrades are and inspect the card as a whole and try to ignore the stuff on either side of that card because that is not on the card at all.
Now look at the subgrade for edges. It's coming in a 7. And when we zoom in, I'm not seeing
it's pretty
7 edges here.
It's pretty normal for a really thick, exquisite card that doesn't even look like it has any significant issues to get a 7 on the edges, though. It's pretty normal.
Yeah, there might be something on the back as well, of course, which we are not focusing in on. We're just not looking at, so keep that in mind. But yeah, if what you're saying is correct, and this is slab issue versus card, or slab scuffs versus card scuffs, then this card's very nice for the 8. The edges, I think, got a raw deal on the front from BGS that day, but the autograph's beautiful. Patch is great, 3-color game used Jordan patch. So awesome card right there. And then to end off this row, we got a 2019 Bowman Chrome Red Shimmer refractor Julio Rodriguez rookie. It's 5 copies only. This is a PSA 10. It's a pop 1. It's at $11,500 right now. Nice card for the Julio Rodriguez fans out there. Let's keep on going. 2017 NTRPA Jason Tatum, the true RPA at a 99 with a mostly white mesh patch, but we do get glimpses of green right up here down on the bottom as well. So it is definitely a 2-color. Plus through the mesh you're seeing green as well. It looks like green jersey through the mesh, I believe, from what I can tell. So autograph is perfect. Well, actually, maybe it isn't. Maybe it isn't down here unless that is scuffs on the slab that are making us see that. I don't know. This one, I think I want to look at the grade on the autograph itself. So let's open this one up and take a look at the back of the card and see what the autograph grade was. It is a 10, so that can't really be on the auto, right, Adam? I mean, this.
No, I think it's another slab issue.
Yeah. I mean, it's not doing the card any service to in the
Look,
slab.
Look at the silver on the left side of the window. You can see a little bit of that going on there too. Yep,
Yeah,
right there.
right here even.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, could be. Right on. So BGS 95, true gem, great copy overall, as long as that auto is intact, which the grade says it is, and we hope it is, but we cannot confirm 100%. 2003 Topps Chrome X-Fractor LeBron James rookie, only 220 copies produced. This is a PSA 9. It's at $14,000. Adam, I mean, it's a great card. Like if you are, if you can afford more than the LeBron James Topps Chrome rookie, and then you've got the Chrome Refractor, which is out of what? Is that 5? What's the refractor number 2?
The regular refractor is not numbered.
Unnumbered.
The black is to 500.
To 500. Okay, the black is to 500. The X-Fractor is to 220. And then there's the gold to 50, I believe, right? This is a nice compromise. The gold is a monster card, but this is going to be a more exclusive territory than both the black and the unnumbered refractor. Definitely more than the base card. So really cool card, Adam. How do you like these X-Fractors?
Well, I think they're great aesthetically. I think they're really cool in hand. I'll tell you something about this one that I've been thinking about lately. I made a list. It's like going to bed a couple nights ago, and I was thinking about the most iconic basketball cards, how that's changed over the last few years. And I just listed off a group of 10 cards. And the LeBron Exquisite made the list. And I had a few people respond back to me and say, I think you should make sure you've got to figure out a way to get the LeBron Chrome on the top 10 list. It's never been close to my top 10. I even had some people say you should kick out the Exquisite and you should put in the Chrome. I think that's his most iconic card. And I read that and I kind of go, really? That's interesting that people feel that way. But I just think that the amount of sort of movement that we've seen on the card and how many stories there have been about it over the last couple of years, and this is in all of its different variations, I think that's an interesting case that people feel like this card may actually be LeBron's most iconic card. I would have said the Exquisite as well. I wouldn't have said it's the Chrome, but it's interesting to hear that. And I think it speaks to how much sort of the shiny cards have taken over in the last few years.
Well, Will's Sports Card says, I'd hunt for the black out of 500. The X doesn't do it for me. That's totally fair. You have to like the card. I love atomic refractors. I like X-Fractors. The black, though, is a beautiful card. You got the refractor without any extra action on the image itself, like the X has, with a nice, sharp, dark black border.
If we're choosing between the two, I like the black more as well.
I do too, from an aesthetic perspective, but from a scarcity, rarity perspective, I think the X-Fractor is a step up. So Vintage says that to re-slab the titanium Jordan would be $250, no brainer in his opinion, but to each their own. Yeah, on a Reholder, it's going to be a lot less than a grade, which we both glossed over erroneously earlier. It's not going to cost you that much unless you're regrading it. To Reholder it is going to cost you a lot less. And yeah, maybe they should have done that. We've got a 96 Flair Showcase Legacy Collection Row Zero Kobe rookie out of 150. Adam, listen, I know this is an important card. I know people love these legacies, these 96 Legacy Collection Row Zeros. But I'll tell you what, for me and for what I like aesthetically, I would, over this card, I would rather have both. I say both. This one right over here, I'd rather have this out of 500 than that one, as well as I'd probably even rather have this one right here. I just think they look nicer. I'm not saying forget what I'd rather have. Aesthetically, I like those two a lot better than I like the Legacy Row Zero from this year. The other year that we were looking at for the Michael Jordan, I like that year more than I like the others. So it just depends. But tell us about this card and what you think about it.
It's funny you say that. In hand, I think this is one of the nicest cards ever made. I really do. Right. I really do. The back is like this really soft cardboard. It just feels really nice. It's like one of the first really premium feels. And then the front is like ultra glossy, and the sparkle that you see on it's similar to the white sparkle, but it's not chrome, right? It's like just heavy gloss. I love it. I love the blue and the legacy. I love this card. But if you can't afford a legacy, which most people can't, if you can grab a regular Rose Zero just to see in person, I really like it. Now, my question for me is, what's nicer, that or the credentials? Because I think they're two of the nicest sets ever made. The reason that people love this card is that it's one of the big three Kobe rookies. It's this one, it's the Chrome Refractor, and it's the credentials. Those are the big three. And this is the only one of the three I don't have. I personally want to buy this, but I will opt for one that's in lower condition because I don't want to be paying for the grade. But I love this card. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's fun. That's one of those things where we all have different taste. And yeah, for me, the credentials hands down, I think, is the nicest. Actually, my favorite might be the other one, the gold card from Finest. That might be my favorite overall Kobe rookie. Let's keep on going. Diego Maradona, 1978 crack Campeonato Mundial. I don't know how you say it. PSA 7. We got another copy of the Larry Bird Magic Johnson rookie. This is the PSA 9 with above average eye appeal. We have to take a look at the perforations here, Adam. I can tell already they are not centered perfectly. They are offset to the right a little bit, but they're still very nice. Corners and edges look really good. Centering overall, very good. No real snow, maybe minor in Magic, but maybe not. No errant black ink. I don't know, Adam. This copy could have been a 10 on any given day too. Like, this looks like a strong copy. Did PWCC give it eye appeal? They did, above average. So I certainly agree with that. Yeah, very, very nice copy right there for somebody who wants to, you can save. So we're 12,000 here on this card, and up here we're at 450. So 450 versus about 14,000 on the one before. You can save yourself a house, basically a house and a car on the driveway if you pass up on this copy and instead you decide to purchase the PSA 9 right here. And then we have a 2022 Panini Mosaic Black 101 Chet Holmgren. Adam, why is this card only $4,500? I don't understand. Chet Holmgren is a great prospect and a great player.
Probably because it's Mosaic. People think of Mosaic not like Prism, not like Optic, probably even below Select. It's a it's a black rookie, and it's a PSA 10, and it's a big name, but it's not the brand. And we know brand equity means so much. So you might even look at it and say, oh, aesthetically, it's close to as good as the Prism or whatever, but brand really matters. And this is a lesson in that.
Yeah, I guess so. I think that's something that could catch up later, because this is no less beautiful than the Prism copy, than any Prism card. Mosaic makes a very nice card, in my opinion. I think they make a very nice card. Mike Nunya says the 96 Rose Zero Kobe Legacy is beautiful in hand, one of his nicest. No doubt. All right, we have a 51 Bowman Mickey Mantle PSA 3. Looks pretty nice, centering side to side. Obviously, it's sitting up high on the canvas, but a nice copy nonetheless. On the other side here, we've got the 2000 Fleer Tradition Tom Brady rookie auto. Only 50 copies produced, numbered 45 of 50. It's the BGS 8. And maybe if it actually had him pictured with the Patriots, this card would be a little bit different in the way it's looked at. But because 8,750 for a Brady autograph rookie out of 50 seems criminally low to me. But again, that might be because he's not pictured in his professional uniform. And then, Adam, in the middle, we got the 2007 Exquisite Exclusive Kobe patch auto out of 24. So you can guess what my question for you is going to be on this one, which is, where is this patch from? Is this from some international Olympic type tournament, or what is that?
It's from an all-star uniform. It's from an all-star uniform. The story on this card, obviously, if you look really close at the white, you see the stars.
Yes.
And that's really cool. I think, finding a patch with something as unique as that is really neat. But to me, the story is where the card came from. This is one of those cards that came out of the special boxes that were like all of one player. And so that year, Exquisite made a LeBron to 23 and Jordan box to 23 and a Kobe box to 24. And so this box had 5 cards in it, and 4 of the 5 cards were Kobe, and then the 5th card was a rookie card. And each one of the 24 boxes had had one of these in it. This is one of the nicer patches, being 4 color. I think some of them are more like 3, but also you get a whole star, maybe like almost 2 whole star, 2 maybe 3, close to 3 stars on the card. And so it's got a nice patch. It's got a really nice autograph. Could have used some hollow foil over the regular foil in the design, but I love the design still. And I think, Jeremy, I don't know if you remember what it was like when that product came out, but the idea that you would open a box and not have any idea when you took out the outer wrapping that you would get to a box that on the inside was signed by a player, and then you knew you had the special box.
Yeah.
That was one of the coolest things that Upper Deck ever did, and they don't get enough credit for that.
Really cool. You mentioned the foil. What I like about the foil is you've got some sort of color match going, or at least some color coordination between the color of the foil and this stripe going through the patch here.
You're right.
That matches. I think that's nice. The purple here matches the purple here. So that's pretty cool. The red stands out, but the red adds a nice pop of color as well. Numbered 7/24, BGS 8.5, sitting at 18,500. Oh, it says right here, All-Star Game Used patch. Of course, I missed that before, but there you have it. 3 pretty cool cards in this row right there. Here we have another Victor Wembanyama, 23, Prism Gold. This is the shimmer, first off the line. It's got that same picture that we've seen him in all his Prism rookies. Pop 1, 6 graded higher, $14,500. So here we've got the gold shimmer. There it is. You can buy this for, around, say, $16K or so. Or you can go to the very top and you can buy tonight his true gold, which is now at 120. We started the night at 100 grand, Adam. We're at 120 now, plus BP. That's 144 out the door right now. So that one's going to cost you, as of right now, 144,000, where this one you can pick up for about 17. So a big difference there. Adam, do you think that that's a fair gap between those two values? They're both out of 10.
It just goes to show, how much the true gold matters. It really is like the one parallel it's the one card that will matter every year, even if a player doesn't have an autograph. I'm not sure about anything else. I'm sure that the gold parallel, the gold prism rookie card is going to be highly collected. I'm 100% sure about that.
Interesting stuff. To me, that gap is too large, but hey, that's where the market is right now. And if it stays that way into the future, then you're good. You're good on buying the big one up top, but I think there's a lot of value in this one right here. We got a 2004 Mega Cracks Messi rookie BGS 9.5 at $17,000. Looks like a very nice copy. Actually, Surface is a 9.5, which I really like to see on these, because these cards they're very fragile. They're just paper. You got look at this. It's a 9.5. You got 10 on centering, 9.5 edges, 9.5 surface, 9 on corners. Really, really great copy of the Messi rookie right there. And then finally an Anthony Edwards NTRP at a 99. The second one we've seen, $25,000, BGS 8.5. Let's find that other one that we saw. It's just going to be a Pierce. So there it is right there. A BGS 9 is at $34,000. Keep that patch in mind. Actually, let's just do this. Let's open that up there. Let's come back down to this one over here. And let's compare these patches, because that's really, you got this one here. I do like this one a lot better. The BGS 8.5. The BGS, what were these? We're at 25,000 on the 8.5. And I think 35. Yeah, and 34 on the 9. While I do like the patch better on the 8.5, take your pick, everybody. You have your option on 2 of the 99 Anthony Edwards RPAs tonight. Then we have another Jordan 06 auto patch. Wait, no. My bad. I'm still up there. Get it together. Here we go. Here's where we were. Thanks, Adam. I was like, what? Am I deja vu here? Let's go down. Adam, before I go, any comments on the Ant-Man? You're muted. Sorry.
I don't know how that happened. I toggled away for a second. The question is how good Anthony Edwards is going to be. Have you watched him?
Yes, I've seen him play.
I mean, he's awesome on both sides of the ball. The thing that excites me most about him is like he's just fantastic in front of a mic, man. He's so charismatic. He knows how to talk in a way where you're interested in what he has to say. He's not boring. He's interesting. The NBA is looking at him like he's the next face of the league, truly. And so I think he's got the chance to be incredible from a talent perspective, but I'm just as excited for how he portrays himself. I'm also really excited to have like the market having come down so much that you can look at a rookie card right now and reasonably ask the question, is this a really good buy? Like, is there a chance that this could go way up? And I know that he's already gone up a lot over the course of the last few months. So, part of me is like, oh, you should have gotten in earlier. Okay. But I'm reminded of when I was buying Kevin Durant rookies back in 2009, and I was buying because I thought he was going to go way up, and then I sold thinking I just crushed it, and then he just kept going way up, and I sold way early. Maybe that's what's happened. Maybe that's what'll happen here with Edwards. If he's the face of the league in a way that we haven't seen for a while for a young guy, that'll be really exciting, and I think he's got a chance of that.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens. If he is the new face of the league, what happens to Luca and Jokic and Zion and Melo and all these other Tatum and Steph and LeBron? I mean, all these other guys that are also, is all the attention going to go on to Anthony Edwards? And if that happens, what does happen to values of these other guys?
Not all of it. I think the one guy you just mentioned where it's like, well, that guy will definitely keep being a face of the league is Luca. Right? Jokic, from a talent perspective, seems like he should be, but he's just not he's not marketable in the same way. Like whenever they talk to him, he's like, I just want to go hang out with my horses, right? He doesn't act like he loves it. Luca acts like he loves it. Although Luca complains so much, man, it drives me crazy. I can't watch how much he complains. Edwards is like the whole package. He's got everything going for him. The question is whether he can win. And right now, he's only a couple years into his career. He's already in the second round. Like that's pretty successful.
One thing, listen, you say Luca complains a lot. Like sometimes you're just so competitive, you're so passionate that you just, your emotions get the better of you and you verbalize. Like I get it.
He's the worst though, man. He's petulant. Yeah. Like he just argues in every play. He puts his arms out and acts like, how did you know? I mean, I'm a fan. He's one of the most fun players to watch when he's actually when he's playing, but he complains after every flipping play, man. It's ridiculous.
All right. We've got a Ronaldo Mega Cracks rookie PSA 9. You can pair the Ronaldo and the Messi together tonight if you would like. We've got a 2019 Spectra Tom Brady auto inscription numbered 4 of 4. It's a PSA 8. Super Bowl winner is the inscription. Pretty cool card, actually. I want to open this one up and just have a look at how the autograph sits on this awesome looking card. I don't know why he couldn't have just shifted everything up half an inch or so to center it in that tempered out autograph area. Like could have been a bit higher there, Tom, but that's okay. That's okay, Tom. That's a gorgeous card. That's a stunning card. I love the color. The gold in there is just beautiful. Beautiful. And then we got a dual jersey, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, 2002 SPX winning materials, BGS 9. Autos also grade a 9. Let's have a look at them. Jordan's auto looks really good. Kobe's looks really good. The shooting shirt and shorts. I love that they tell you what they are. Wizards Jordan card here, Adam. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about your thoughts on these two cards, unless you want to talk about the Ronaldo as well, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you think of how this Brady looks, and then share your knowledge on the winning combos, please.
I love inscriptions. I think that's a really cool inscription. I agree with everything you said. It would be nice if it was up a little bit, but it took Tom a while to write all that down, right? Like there's a lot of Roman numerals on there. It's pretty cool. And then, a question that we sort of discussed at length last month was this idea of like playing days versus non-playing days and whether it really matters. And it was centered around Michael Jordan. And because some people don't like his Wizard stuff, but then other people love it because it's playing days. I obviously would prefer if it was Bulls playing days, but autographed jerseys numbered to 10 playing days of Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant where Jordan's in a Bulls uniform don't actually exist. There's one that was made in after Jordan retired, in between then and when he got to the Wizards, and it's like well into the six figures, right? So I love this one. There's only 10 of the card. It's kind of hidden down in the bottom right. It's out of 10. And I love the way that what you pointed out, that it says on the front of the card what it actually is. Part of you wants the autograph to be much bigger, but like it's a playing days dual autograph jersey of those two. And I love that.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. I obviously would prefer he's in a Bull. Actually, personally, I have no interest in owning him in a Wizards. You know, I don't care if it's playing day. I'd rather have post playing days Bulls cards than playing days Wizards, but that's just me. I'm not as playing days oriented as some people are.
I think most people agree with you on that, and I don't have any problem with that. So here, let's do it.
Great, still a great card overall, and I would, I'd love to own it. Don't get me wrong. I mean,
let's do a would you rather though. Would you rather have? And it's a weird one, but would you rather have that Brady inscriptions auto that we just looked at, or this dual jersey auto that we're looking at?
Oh, I'm taking the dual jersey auto all day long over the Brady because I'm not a big fan of inscriptions myself.
Okay.
Not something. Yeah, I like a cleaner looking card. I would rather a bigger autograph. So no, I love the looks of the card. Listen, I think the inscription's cool, just not for me, but I can see how people love it. But I love the top half of the card with the throwing pose and that copper-ish gold looking background. I think it's just stunning. I love those colors. But no, I would take the Jordan Kobe over the Tom Brady all day long for me.
I would have thought that the Brady with that level of inscription would have sold for way more money. I would. I mean, I know we're not done yet, but like, I don't know that market totally well, but like that same thing right there, if that existed of Michael Jordan, would be so huge, right? And I know we think about Brady being like the Jordan of football. He's not, obviously. That's a lot of writing on that card, though. It's really a cool card. I am the basketball guy, so obviously I'm going to take the basketball card, but I could see somebody taking the Brady for sure.
I think part of the reason why it's only a 4,200 is similar to what you were saying about the Mosaic 101 above, is that this is not Prism. This is Spectra, right? It's a brand thing. It's a brand thing, I believe. I want to say hello to Jordan Hagedorn. Yeah, it's been a long time. Hope you're well, Jordan, and hope you're doing okay with recent headlines. And I'll leave it as if you know, you know. Okay, we've got a flawless horizontal Jason Tatum Ruby out of 15, pop 1, PSA 10. Looks to be a gorgeous card, Adam. Let's open it up. Yeah, look at this. Full body shot, action pose, dishing off a pass, it looks like. Nice two-color swatch, perfect autograph. Only 15 copies made. Rookie year card. Awesome card, Adam. Tell us what you think about this Tatum.
I love it because it's a game used patch. I don't love the red, but I don't care that much. I love that it's game used and it's from his rookie year. I think that's right.
But Adam, you can't see the red anyway, so what do you care? You're colorblind.
I know I'm colorblind, but I can see that red. It's really there. It's definitely there.
We have a Star 101 BGS 8.5 Jordan, $34,000. Let's take a look at this because the Star 101s come in many different flavors, shapes, and this one. This is exactly what you want. In my opinion, this is the perfect Star 101 Jordan. The edges and the corners are very nice. Well, how do they grade? Corners come in at a 9, edges at 9. Okay, that's awesome. And surface it. This is the perfect 101, guys. In my opinion, this is the one I would want. Why? Because edges and corners are mint 9s. And surface, what I love a good surface is a 9.5, and the centering exactly what you want. You want centering to be an 8. You don't want it to be a 9 because now you're going to question if it's trimmed and stuff. This is the perfect 101, guys. The perfect 101. Wow, love it. Absolutely love it. 34K, Adam. Go ahead.
I'm going to surprise you on this one by doing our first ever Sports Cards Live giveaway during the Premier Auction show. You ready for this?
We're doing a giveaway.
We're doing a giveaway. I didn't warn you. I didn't warn you about this. So go back on that card real quick if you can, and the Jordan, and pull up the back of the card real quick. So
all right, let's go to the back of the card now We got
There's
to
there's
accommodate
more that
Adam's giveaway.
there's more that you've got to see on this card, and you've not been watching my reels at all, which has me devastated. I spend hours on these things, and my good friend Jeremy Lee won't even watch my reels with me.
I watch a lot of them. Don't get me wrong. I watch a lot of them.
This one's super informative though. The first thing that you notice when you turn around on the back is that is not a flip that you are used to seeing, right? What is that Shinoko thing there at the top? What's that all about? Well, so I did my research on this, and basically there's a guy named Bill Schoncheck who was a winner of a lot of the original Star cards from the Star Company auction in the early 90s, 1990. And so he acquired these cards, and then a number of years later, basically he got with Beckett, and he's like, I need to get my cards graded. Well, PSA didn't grade them at the time, and Beckett had never graded them at the time. So Beckett agreed to begin grading Star cards, and they took in all of this Bill Schoncheck's cards to grade them in the beginning. So not only is this one of the very first Michael or Star cards graded, it's like, I think like the 12th Michael Jordan Star card graded ever, which is awesome. But that's only the beginning, and that doesn't tell you why I'm going to do this giveaway. So in this copy of Beckett, which is from July of 2010, there's a story by Tracy Hackler.
Show the cover.
And what's that?
Show the cover. I'm gonna spotlight you. That issue right there.
Right there. So there's an article by Tracy, by our friend Tracy Hackler, works at Panini. He does an interview of a guy who he shares his top 12 Jordan cards. Now, what's really cool? Can you highlight me again? Can you make me big again here? Sorry, Jeremy.
It's all right.
What's really cool, if you look really close, is the number one card on his list is the Star card, which is hilarious because the number 6 card is now $1 million card, the Essential Credentials now. But that copy right there that's at number 1 is the copy. It's got the same serial number on the front of it as this one that's being sold right now. And so this card, like, it's going to sell for significantly more than an 8.5 normally does. I think that's what we're seeing right now. And I think the big part of that is it's the story. It's the pedigree of the Shinoko collection thing. I'm probably saying that wrong, but it's the fact that it was in Beckett, and this was right after Beckett started grading the cards. This is 2010, so just the year after. And then also it's on the front of the magazine. It's got the Star Jordan. So that Jordan right there is probably that Jordan right there that we're looking at. It's so many sort of things all about this individual copy. And one thing that I talk about all the time with people that I think some people are starting to come around to is the story of the collectible really matters. And there's a lot of Jordans. There's not that many Jordan Stars, but there's some. To have one that has this much individual sort of story to it is a really rare thing, with both that different flip and the Beckett history. And so, like I said, if we see it sell for a little bit more, that might explain to you a little bit about why.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool story. Jay Giuliano, well, Adam just talked about it. You can decide for yourself if you think that is important. Jesse Craig has joined the chat. What's up, Jesse? Good to see you. Welcome to the show. Rage talks about a mean dent on the top board of the Jordan. I didn't see it, Rage, when I zoomed in, so not sure what you saw. Okay, Adam, 2013 silhouette, Giannis Antetokounmpo, rookie out of 25, BGS 9, nice auto, nicer patch, $6,375 right now. Seems like that could be a pretty big card. Is Giannis kind of outside of the conscience of the hobby right now with him being out of the playoffs? Is that why we might be seeing a discount on a card like this?
I think this has been something that's happened over the last couple of years, as he's had a couple of seasons where his team hasn't performed as well. He's not in the main view. I think a lot of his stuff has taken a dip. We used to think about his gold prism being like like one of the very best. I don't think we think about that the same way anymore. But look, he's amazing. He's got a championship. He's definitely one of the players of the era. Maybe it's the best time to pick one up. You're right about the patch on this, though, and the card is just a beautiful card and better in hand too.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's keep going. This was, I don't know what this is. I don't know what sport this is or anything. 1946 Nanina figurine Technicolor, Ferenc Puskas, rookie card, PSA 7, $42,000. What is this? Who is this? What sport did he play?
So he played soccer, and he's like, I think supposedly like the best Hungarian soccer player ever. I think Collect did a story on this, if I'm remembering right. I didn't read it, but I think somebody did a story on it. Might have been Collect, might have been somebody else. A card never moves. It's super rare. It just is one of those iconic, big time old soccer cards that never ever moves, like once every few years. And so that's the story here.
Interesting. It's in the description right now, right here. Powerhouse Hungarian attacker, one of soccer's first truly global superstars, goal scoring records while capturing Olympic gold in 1952. So obviously an important player, but not someone who's on the radar of us North America. Well, of most North American collectors, I would have to think. I've never even heard of the guy.
Right.
I've heard of Pele. I've heard of Ronaldo and Messi and all these Diego Maradona, all these other international soccer superstars. I'd never heard of Puskas, and maybe that's just my bad, but I wish I would have been nice to have known who he was. In any event, his card is going to sell for big money tonight. Pop 2, only one graded higher, but we also have a really cool looking Patrick Mahomes hats off rookie patch auto out of 5 from National Treasures. I don't think I've seen this before, Adam. Look at that patch in there. It's 3D, it's thick, it's plastic. It's really cool. And the autograph, Patrick lays down beautiful autographs regularly. Great looking card, Adam. What do you make of it?
Did you say already that it's a hat?
Yeah. Okay. Hats off.
Yeah. So I remember seeing one of these in person and being like blown away. Like, this is amazing. And then I realized it was the hat, and I was like, do I like that? The hat's really small. There can't be too many pieces of a hat. It's from the draft day. It sounds like he probably wore it on. Like, that's pretty cool, but it's not from worn in a game. I sort of went back and forth on it. I think the hobby has sort of determined it's not nearly as cool as like the official like rookie. What's the number on it? Is it number 5?
5 of 5.
So it's not a parallel of the base set. It's like an insert. So it's really cool. I mean, it's from the rookie year. It's from the right product. In a lot of ways, because it's vertical, it's actually like cooler looking than the actual RPA. I don't know if that looks like it's probably hollow foil in the patch window. It's probably really cool in person.
Yeah, it is.
You like the hat?
I think it is a parallel of the base because it is number 5. It was not serial numbered 5 of 5, but the card is number 5. But the hat to me is not part of the uniform, right? Football players don't wear baseball caps. They just don't. And that kind of throws me off a little bit as far as would it make sense to me.
I might be mistaken. I might be mistaken, Jeremy, but usually the rookies are a lot higher numbered. I don't think it is a parallel of the base card. I'm going to look it up real quick.
Number 5, it's from Rookies, Hats Off, Signatures. Maybe it isn't. In any event, it is sitting right now at $8,000. And next to it, we have a 2018 Shea Gilgeous-Alexander Donruss Optic Gold out of 10, Pop 3 at $10,250. I mean, I know this guy's gaining a lot of love in the hobby, playing very well, had a great season. And to me, Optic is like Mosaic. I think Optic is as nice as Prism. I think it's a great card, and I think these are probably undervalued, in my opinion, relative to the base, the Prism card itself. Back to this Mahomes, though. I was thinking the same thing, Rage. Rage says it's the hat he's wearing on the card. No, I think it is. I was zooming in to see. I think it is, Rage. That makes a lot of sense. Jay Giuliano says, I've not seen the Nanina card before, but I do collect Nanina, just not in soccer. That is kind of cool. Well, there we go. A collector of Nanina, which I don't even know what Nanina is, but thank you, Jay. What is Nanina? Can you take a minute and tell us a little bit, Jay, about what is it? Is it a manufacturer like Panini? Hey, if Panini didn't enter Canadian markets or North American markets, we might not know what Panini was either. So nice to see, or I might not have. Nanina, I'm curious what it is. Adam, any comments on the SGA?
You and I had a conversation a long time ago about SGA and Luca. Do you remember that?
I mean, man, we've had so many. No, I'm just going to say no, I don't.
It was a year ago. I actually looked it up today. It was when the SGA Logo Man Auto was selling. And I was making the case. I thought SGA had a chance to be like one of the players of the era. And he hadn't really gotten into the consciousness of like mainstream collectors, or mainstream basketball watchers. But I love SGA. And now here we are, and he's an MVP candidate this year. And that card right there, I'm 100% with you. That's just as nice looking as his Prism. In fact, in 2018, I'll say it, Optic's the nicest Prism brand from 18. It won't. I don't think it'll ever be worth what Prism is. I might be wrong about that, but that's a beautiful card.
I agree. And congratulations on having foresight on SGA a year ago. Another Tatum. Rookie black auto, 1 of 1 in an SGC 8.5 holder, black prism from Prism rookie signatures. Funky looking card. I don't love the aesthetic of this card, the design, but I'm sure a lot of people do. We've got the Interlake Michael Jordan oversized card, BGS 9.5, and then we've got 2022 Bowman Chrome Super Fractor Jackson Churio, 1 of 1 PSA 10. Big card right there, a hair under $10,000. Adam, I don't really have much more to say about these cards. Maybe you want to talk about the Interlake a little bit. It's not a card I'm personally interested in, but some people listening and watching might be. To me, it's not a card. It's too big, but I'm not going to say it isn't a card. What do you think?
Every time I buy a card that's oversized that I think I'll love, I get it, I look at it, and then I feel like it's too big. And so that's what would happen with me in this card. But what if you don't have that issue, what you talk yourself into real quick is how old it is. That first Jordan jersey in white. I don't know if there's another card of Jordan where he's wearing that white jersey. Like it's cool, it's a great look. But to me, honestly, the coolest card on that row, I like the Tatum because it's from his rookie year. It's from Prism. It's just that it's an insert set. And it makes me think because like if he's going to be one of the faces of the NBA, if he's going to win a championship this year, and you can get a Prism rookie, even if it is an insert for under 10 grand, that seems like it could be a good deal.
Yeah. All right, let's keep on going. We've got a Chet Holmgren Crown Royal Super Prime Patch Auto 1 of 1. You can pick up a couple of Chet 1-of-1s tonight for what seemed to be fair prices to me. $6,500 on that one, Adam. Nice, really cool design on this card, actually. It's got all sorts of things going, all sorts of neat visual aesthetics happening, like all these little lines coming out of the bottom, all the different design on the single card. I think it's a nice looking card. We've got the 2014 Orange Refractor Mookie Betts out of 25, BGS 9.5 with a 10 auto. And then we got a Contenders ticket, Tom Brady, BGS 8.5 with a 10 auto at $13,000. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Big card right there. To get that under 20K seems absolutely ridiculous to me compared to what we've seen. But if that's where we are at, that is where we're at. I can't change anything about that. So, Adam, any comments on this Chet? I mean, and also look at how the color of the autograph color matches all the design on the card. It is authenticated by MBA. We do notice it's got, some little white showing on the top left corner, top right corner, and border shows some white. You're seeing white down the side. So this card is, I don't know, it would probably grade an 8, maybe a 7 because of these edges. I'm not sure. It depends what company's grading it and how they feel that day. But in any event, cool card for what it is, for sure. Adam, any comments, please?
Silhouettes go all the way back to 2010. And so I always like sets that have good heritage and lineage. And some of the coolest RPAs of the era are the parallels, not the jerseys. The jerseys are generally like the more basic version, the jersey auto, and then the patch auto is the more prestigious one. This is the 1-of-1 version of that. The only other thing that I'll point out is now we've seen this, which is a 1-of-1, the Logo Man auto out of NT, which is a 1-of-1 in this auction, and then the Immaculate Logo Man auto Logo Man Auto in was it last month or the month before, and all three of them had NBA authentication. None of them were graded, which tells me either Chet did a like he maybe sent his cards back in a way where they didn't end up being like super high gradable, right? Or maybe the other thing that could have happened is there was like a Chet super collector that submitted all of them to PWCC for sale. Either way, it's interesting that none of the three Chet, these big 1-of-1 cards, ended up being perfect. And so that's just part of Chet's story at this point.
No, appreciate the information. I wanted to go back to the Nanina card because Jay Giuliano has given us some information for us that want to learn on a daily basis here. Nanina is an Italian company, sport and non-sport, and in his non-informed mind, he thinks of them in the realm of early U.S. card companies. Yeah, you're thinking like the Bowmans and the Leafs and the Gaudis and that. So thank you for that, Jay. Appreciate it. From that 30s to 40s era. Thank you. All right, back to where we left off, and look at this row of Jordan rookie. Is it not rookie? All just the discussion that happens over these two cards. We have two star 101s on either end. We've got a BGS 7.5 on the right and a PSA 6 on the left, and the Jordan 86 Fleer rookie in the middle in a an SGC 9.5 holder at just under $20,000. The discounts that some grading companies get compared to PSA is just criminally like this is centered. It is sharp. This could be a PSA 10, yet because it's in an SGC 9.5 holder, it's going to sell for, about 10% of that price. Wow. That it's a gem mint. Oh, sorry. SGC calls it mint plus, not gem mint. It's mint plus. But I mean, look at it. It's definitely within PSA 10 centering. The only thing I see wrong with it is this little bit of white here, which you can barely even see. Adam, it's kind of crazy how cheap this is compared to some other Jordan rookies. What do you think?
I couldn't agree more. I think you're spot on. The question that I have for you, because we constantly hear that PSA is, and I think this is probably accurate in a lot of cases, that they're a lot harder grader than BGS. We've got a perfect example right here of a 6 and a 7.5. Can we pull up both of those and you can give it the Jeremy Lee eye sort of test and tell me which one you think is a nicer card?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's just close some of that. Okay, so we've got the PSA 6. I mean, it's got this big mark right here on the edge. That hurts it. Centering wise, looks good. You got white on the corner there. Can't really tell what the surface is. I think 6 is probably appropriate for the grade. This nick on the edge really hurts it. Like without that, this is probably an 8. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's a 7.5. Then we have the BGS 7.5. It's clearly a superior card because it doesn't have the big gouge out of it on the right there.
It's not centered as nice though.
Well, it is not centered as nice, but I don't know that like you look at the right edge on this card, and then you look at the right edge on this card. They're not that far off.
Yeah, but the thinner top left is just so much thinner, right?
Top left is, well, top of this one is a lot wider than the bottom. And then it's the opposite on this side. The top is narrower than the bottom. So centering top to bottom, I think, is almost the same. They're just different. One's high, one's low. But side to side, like this, I almost think that this copy here is a smaller copy than the PSA 6. I think the PSA 6 is just a more full-bodied card. But I might be wrong. This just might be maybe there's enough extra width on this right border to make up for what's missing on the left compared to the PSA copy, which is more centered side to side, although this does have counterclockwise tilt, while the BGS 7.5 maybe has slight tilt as well. I think it does have slight tilt. I mean, I think the 7.5 is a far better card than the 6. I mean, this gouge out of it up here just really bothers me as a collector. I don't like either copy that much, to be honest. I would wait for a different copy altogether, but it depends what your budget is as well, right? Right now we're sitting at 14.5 on the PSA 6, 15,000 on the BGS 7.5. I think for my money, I'm buying the BGS copy. I don't like that gouge. That gouge is it's a deal breaker altogether for me against owning this copy here.
I was surprised because PSA, I think, has been a lot stronger, a lot tougher to get high grades. I was surprised that this was a 6 on this card. And I'm not trying to downplay the card. I would love to own that card. I would love to own the card with the gouge. It's a great card. But and the 7.5 does, I think the centering on the 7.5 does stand out to me quite a bit more as being off, especially there's something about like the off top to bottom that just stands out more. I would rather have a little bit extra on the top than on the bottom. My eyes are just drawn to it on the top. I don't know what that is or why that is, but
I get that. Yeah.
But I think that the 7.5 is like a significantly nicer card. And I would much rather have the 7.5 than the 6. But the market right now is bearing that they're almost an identical price, which that's what the market bears, and that's fine. But give me the BGS copy.
Yeah, that I'm with you. I like the 7.5 a lot more. I would not want to own this. I just wouldn't want to own this card because of that gouge, but that's fine. I'm not saying it's not a great card for what it is. I would just I think there's better copies out there for me. Yeah, I like the 7.5 quite a bit, actually. I think the centering doesn't bother me so much. If you look at the top and the bottom here, while it is situated high, the difference in the thickness of the border on the top versus the bottom, I think is much less different than this one here. Look at the bottom border here. I mean, between the logo and the bottom of the card, it's very narrow there. This is much wider. I noticed that. The fact that this is selling for so close to the Beckett is simply, I believe, is the spell, the PSA spell that the hobby is under, where the hobby, generally speaking, is so willing to pay so much money for the plastic around the card versus the card itself. I'm not going to get caught by that anymore. I'm not willing to pay for plastic. I pay for cardboard, unless it's an acetate card, unless it's plastic acetate.
We're exactly on the same page as far as like the comparing the two. The last thing that I'll say is I said I'd love to have the 6, but mostly because I would just really like to own a Jordan Star. It's like such a, when I redid my top 10 just a couple days ago, Jeremy, I put it on the list. I think it's a top 10.
I mean, for the same price, would you rather have the PSA 6 or the BGS 7.5?
Well, I already answered that. It's not even close.
Okay, the 7.5.
It's not even the gouge really stands out to me. If I'm surprised PSA called this a 6. I would have thought if you would have put that in front of me and said, Adam, what do you think they're going to grade this? I would have said a 4 to a 5. But I wouldn't have guessed that it would have gotten a 6. I think that was a really generous grade.
Because edges are only one criteria, and centering's strong on it. Corners and edges are decent, so maybe I think 4. I put up a 4, but I think that's too low for it, even with that with the gouge out of it. Let's keep on.
I will say this last thought. I will say this: the 6 has like top 90% side to side centering. For that card, that's about as good a centering as you're ever going to find.
Yeah, and that's maybe why it did get the higher grade. Want to welcome Zach Swisher to the show, and I appreciate the comment, Zach. Thank you. Sean Kia says the Ant-Man triple logo man rookie is so nice. Very cool. Rage agrees on the gouge. All right, let's go to the next row here. We've got a Ultra Masterpieces A-Rod 1-of-1 PSA 6.5, the only 1-of-1 Masterpiece edition at $6,250. And we have 2 Steph Curry rookies. We've got his National Treasures gold out of 25. With a great patch and auto at $150K. And then we've got his chrome refractor, Topps chrome refractor out of 500 in a BGS 9.5 at a relative paltry $14,750 compared to what we'd seen in the past. What a steal compared to what people paid a couple of years ago, but I know that's the way it goes. So listen, this is a really nice NT patch right here. Let's have a look at the autograph, see how it plays out. We're going to close up these other guys right now. So the auto is really nice. He's got a nice tight little auto there. Great patch, all sorts of 3-color, nice stitching, letters. It's a BGS 9 mint condition, centering, holding it back at an 8.5, but like, who cares? Look at everything else about this card. Centering to me just doesn't even really matter. Like, I do see that it is off-centered, but is that not, like, that's still PSA 10? That's still 60/40, I think, which is still PSA 10 centering. So great card right there. And of course, the refractor Topps Chrome is a beautiful card in a 9.5, Adam. I know you can talk about the A-Rod too, because there's basketball cards like this as well. So tell us what you think about all these three, Adam.
Well, do you remember when the Rodman masterpiece, ultra masterpiece sold like about a year ago? I think it did like $80,000 to $90,000, and we've seen some really big one-of-one sales out of the ultra masterpiece parallel over the course of the last year or two. A-Rod's one of those guys that I always think, oh yeah, he sells for a lot, and then when his stuff actually sells, I'm like, his stuff doesn't actually sell for very much. If this was a comparable player from the era, but with maybe a little bit more popularity, I think we would see this at quite a bit more than we're seeing it at right now. But that's what's great about being an A-Rod collector. You can get some of his best cards for a little bit less than some of the bigger stars. On the other two cards, they're just both classic. They're two of the most iconic modern day basketball cards. And I've said this over and over again. I think the Steph is the second biggest RPA ever, the NT. And it's probably the biggest RPA, maybe even the biggest card of Panini's era.
So the second biggest behind only LeBron James. Yeah, I think that's if you have that pair of NTR or the exquisite and the NT, you've got yourself two amazing cards to pair up together. Devin Dersh, welcome to the show, says, are you looking at wax as well? No, we don't have the wax checked off here. We're just looking at the singles, but there is a 1990, I think it's a box of 97 Metal Universe in the auction too, which is a really cool item to bid on, everybody. All right, next row, 2 Connor McDavid rookies and 2 big ones. The exquisite RPA out of 97 and a BGS 9 at $12,500, when his cup RPA is above at a 99 is at 30-something thousand. And meanwhile, you can get the exquisite, which is out of fewer copies, bigger patch on card auto at 12.5. I think that's good value. And then you've got the seismic gold, auto at a 25. So in O-Pee-Chee Platinum, which is kind of like the hockey equivalent of Panini Prism, as far as, you know, how they look, the stock they use, the patterns, the varying patterns, and the number of parallels. When they have gold seismics are usually out of 50. They are unnumbered, but the autographed rookie gold seismics are numbered out of 25, making this a very rare Connor McDavid on-card auto rookie. The card grade's a 9, the auto grade's a 10. It's a pop 4. This is really a great card. It's a very important card, and I love it. It does grade a 9. I am noticing it is off-center to the right, but look at that centering. I mean, that's still PSA 9 centering right there. That looks like Star 101s basically as far as centering goes. But to me, again, who really cares? It's about owning a beautiful card, a rare card, a rookie card of the greatest player with an on-card auto. And gold seismics are beautiful, in my opinion. And the logo man, James Harden, pre-beard, 2009 National Treasures, James Harden logo man patch. This is a pretty cool card, Adam. I mean, you're getting the auto right there that is on a sticker.
That's right.
Game used logo man, I believe. Prime. Nice design.
Not game used.
Not game used. That was an assumption. A wrong assumption. Adam, tell us more about it.
Well, so it's not game used because it's from his rookie year. So it's going to be a photo shoot. It's going to be a photo shoot jersey. There are 2 logo man autos that came out in NT for, I think, pretty much every year. And one of them is on card. It's, I think, almost always been vertical, and it's a parallel to the base set. And that is James Harden's biggest card in existence. Even though he's not the most popular, that's probably still well into the 6 figures today for that card. This is probably, if you wanted an autographed logo man from his rookie year, this is probably the next best thing. It's probably the only other thing. There might be something else in like Absolute or one of those other brands, but Like Jeremy points out, it's got a sticker auto. It's out of 5. It's not a parallel of the base card. And all of those things really make it not his best card. But still, it's one of his better cards, right? It's like, would you rather have this or a gold refractor? I think you'd rather have this, and that's indicated by the price here.
No, I think you're probably right, Adam. I shake my head in disagreement, but I think you're probably right. I just disagree for me.
For
and
you,
the reason, yeah. And the reason why is because, well, in hockey we have a lot of on-card autos, so it's a bit different. When I collect a lot of hockey cards, I have a 2 rules that I try to stick to as much as I can. One is no sticker autos, and the other one is game used memorabilia only. So this fails both of those tests for me, and it makes it a card I just have zero interest in owning. I would rather have a card that isn't trying to be something it isn't, and I know that's unfair, but you know what I mean. But I would rather have the other card. What was the other card that you mentioned?
The gold refractor rookie card out of Chrome.
Yeah, 100%. I'd rather have that over this.
So here's the case for it, though, right? Like I've talked it down. Look, don't stop me there. Let me talk about why you do want it.
Please.
And that is the reason for that is like only one person can own that best card. So I've told people this story. Like I'm like the world's biggest Rudy Gobert fan, and there's a guy who has the Rudy Gobert Logo Man auto out of Immaculate, and I've been trying to get it from him for 9 years. Right? I can't get him to part with it. But if there was another option, if there was another Logo Man auto of Rudy Gobert from his rookie year, and I had the chance at it, even if it was a sticker, whatever, like I'd look at that and I go, well, this is my other chance to get it. It's not going to cost me nearly as much. It's not as nice of a card. I get all that. But like, if you are a James Harden collector, I'm not. If you are, and you want to own a Logo Man autographed rookie card, there's only a few of them out there. And this is one of them.
Where did this logo? Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and I'm just kind of like, no, I don't think so, because to me, a logo man comes from a jersey that was part of the game, like.
But almost no logo man autos from the rookie years. Almost none of them were game worn. Almost every one of them was from the photo shoot. That's true of LeBron. That's true.
So this card up here, this card up here are just photo shoots.
No, because it's flawless. You're right; those are game use.
Okay, well that I'm happy, because I was about to just rip this card to shreds. Then if it was these were okay, so yeah, like to me, no, this to me is it's just a card with a any old manufactured patch on it and a sticker auto, and 13,500 to me is about 12 grand too much for me as to what. But listen. I also you said only one person can own this card. Yeah, but that's why I like cards out of 10. You have camaraderie. You can own the same card as some friends. To me, that's just as cool as owning a 1-of-1. I love some 1-of-1s. Don't get me wrong, but if it's going to be a 1-of-1, there's got to be a reason why it's a 1-of-1. There's no reason that this has to be a 1-of-1 except to create the scarcity of a 1-of-1.
Okay, so on that point, let's like compare apples to apples. So the James Harden 1-of-1 is also not game used. It's also from the photo shoot, right? So it's the same kind of 1-of-1 on both cards. Those things are equal. The things that are different, there's 2 main things that are different. The 1-of-1 is also a parallel of the base set.
Meanwhile, it's out of 5. It's out of 5.
It's out of right. This one's out of 5, right? But the 1-of-1 is the parallel to the base set. That's a big deal. And the autograph is on card. And so, and that card, let's put it at 150 grand. That's just my educated to high level guess. Let's say it's 150 grand. Would you rather pay 150 grand for that or 15, 16 grand for this? I see the case for this. I do. Even you're right. It's out of 5, but you're saving 130 grand in the process.
When you're playing the would you rather game, I'm not going to disagree with that. I think that makes a lot of sense. But if I had full autonomy on that decision, I would say, well, neither. And I'm going to just spend my money elsewhere. And I'm going to go grab myself a James Harden, rookie card that's out of 50 or that's out of 100 or something like that, that doesn't have any bells and whistles except the color of the stock itself, sort of thing. So, but let's keep on going. Okay, so what do we have? Sean Kia says flawless, game worn, so sick. Yeah, exactly. SL doesn't want us talking about the OPG McDavid, so we'll let you bid away on that for sure. Ken Sumner, that guy with the Rudy logo, man, will gladly take Warriors Grails for it. And Yitz says, or you could just get first year cup 1 of 1 and change. Yeah, that's first year 1 of 1 and change. I think he's talking. I'm not sure what that's about, actually. Okay, let's keep on going. We still have a few cards to see here. We've got a flawless Luca horizontal RPA out of 25. To me, this is way nicer than his NT RPA. This is, to me, yeah, like this is the Luca RPA that I would want. Beautiful. Well, I also love Immaculate and Flawless. The other Flawless. This is great. I do like this card, Adam.
This one, so back to your game use point, it's something we've talked about a lot, but we're going to keep talking about it because people really care. This is a game used patch, whereas Immaculate is not.
What about NT?
NT is not. None of those other ones are.
So if you were to, would you rather have a flawless game use patch on card auto out of 25, beautiful aesthetic in my opinion, or the National Treasures NTRPA, not as nice aesthetically in my opinion, even though I generally prefer verticals over horizontals, but in this case I don't, with a non-game use patch? I mean, and paying what, 10 times the amount? The hobby is wrong on this, people. The hobby is wrong to give NT all that extra value when it doesn't deserve it. It doesn't deserve it. It's backwards. The hobby's backwards. You want to buy value? This is value. And I think in time, the hobby will smarten up and they will attribute more value to this card right here than his NTRPA at a 99 even that's not game used. Like, it's ridiculous to me. It almost makes me mad. Like, you've seen me do, like, slap the hobby right across the face. How can you, what are you guys thinking? What are you thinking? It just drives me crazy. But listen, what do I care? If I'm a buyer on Luca, I'm going to get this card for $10,000, which is about 1/8 of what the NT. What's the NTRPA worth now, Adam?
It's like, I think one sold, I think we saw one sell like 3 or 4 months ago for like 70 or 75.
A tenth of the price, basically, and you're getting a superior dominant card,
I would also buy this card way before I'd buy the NT because of cost. To compare apples to apples, I would say the thing that are different, you're right that you've got the game used on this, and that is absolutely huge. This is missing the RC shield, which some people really, really care about. And the NT is part of the base set, which also people really, really care about. And so if Flawless had made it so that it wasn't the diamond out of 20 that was the base card, but it was a card like this, I think it would be worth far more than NT. But I think Panini knew that, and they knew that they would be cannibalizing their own brand if they did that. And I think that's why they kept it as the diamond for so long, because that was good business for them to continue to sell their NT. But now looking back at it, what we have is like competing cards that have like I think that they're pretty even, because one has the brand and it's the base card and all that other stuff. But the fact that this is game used, and Jeremy, you hit it exactly on the head, that it's 1/10 the price, I'm with you. I'd take this one.
Man, I would take this one at the same price at the NTRPA over it. Yeah, like not just the price and everything you just said. And I understand this is where the hobby's at. Everything you said about the lack of the RC shield. I mean, they put RC shield on lots of cards nowadays, so you know what I mean. And the fact that it's not that it's not the base set numbering. I mean, you strip that stuff away, which I'm able to do in my mind because it's still from the same rookie year, came out of the same product. The fact that it's numbered differently, to me, is all minor compared to the fact that this is game worn jersey. This is from that piece of patch puts you on the court on Luca while he's playing an NBA game. To me, that is the mic drop. That is all that really matters to me. Like I stopped, I used to collect the cup, the hockey equivalent of Exquisite is the cup, or NT for that matter is the cup. I used to collect the rookie cards. I completely stopped because the patches aren't game used.
Right.
99% of them aren't game used. Like, why am I going to pay such a premium? I'd rather have a different rookie card with just an auto. I don't need any patch if it's not game used.
So
sometimes they do add night, like, and by patch I mean a patch that is meant to look like it's a gamer patch. Yeah.
So okay, the best example of this in the world is 2003 Exquisite, because 2003 Exquisite is the year that we get the LeBron James RPA in the base set that is not game used, and an insert with a giant patch that's more limited that is game used in the limited logos. And which one sells for more? It's the rookie.
The one with the RC designation sells for more.
Because it's in the base set and because it's designated as the RC. And so what we can know by looking at these two things, by comparing them, is that the hobby over time has actually cared far more about the RC base set designation than it does about something that's rarer and game used. And you can think that's totally crazy, and I kind of agree with you if you do, but I can say that the hobby over time has spoken that those other things do really matter.
I agree. That's the situation we are in, and I think that it is ass backwards. Personally, I think it's simply just ass backwards, and I also think that over time, when people are really understanding what they're buying and they actually think about this and be like, whoa, we're a bunch of idiots. This hobby, we're a bunch of idiots. For all these years, we've been attributing all this value to something that the player either just wore at a photo shoot or never even wore altogether. Meanwhile, there's all these great value limited logos and other, flawless out of 25s that have game used jerseys in them and autograph, and they came out of those same packs as those rookie cards that are out, and there's more copies of the rookie as well. The Exquisite RP is out of 99. The limited logos are out of 50, and they're game used. And it's ridiculous to me that that's the way the hobby is. And I'm in this hobby 44 years now. I've seen all this happen and evolve over time. And I think I'm certainly in the minority when I say this, but I'll tell you what, at the end of the day, if I were to put my collection of game used cards, if I had it up against someone who's only got photo patches, but they got the RC designation, they got the base number on the back. Oh, you got the base number on the back. And oh, you got the RC shield. I'm gonna look at you and think you're the biggest idiot I know, because that's what you've been buying all along. And I'm getting the cards that were actually have game worn memorabilia in them. And that to me is, again, the biggest thing. So yeah, I think the hobby's got it backwards. I think the LeBron limited logos is if it is game used versus the RPA, that's the better card. There's no doubt that's the better card in my mind.
If we put them right next to each other right now, you would look at the limited logos, and the other thing you would say is, oh, the image of LeBron's really small on that. And you might still gravitate towards that, but I'm just reminding you of that just in case, because that's kind of what the hobby has said is like, I don't like that card as much because it has the small image.
Adam, now here I'm going to take my, what some people might think is a crazy view, and I'm going to go even crazier. And I'm going to say, because of what you just said, if I don't like the aesthetics of a rookie year game used auto patch, I'm almost going to be willing to go second year, still early in the career. Like, for example, when it comes to the cup in hockey, and I don't buy rookie year auto patches because there's really none there's very few that are game used. So I don't even touch them. They mean nothing to me unless they're game used. I would way rather have a third year Connor McDavid limited logos that has a game used patch than his rookie year cup RPA. I would way rather have that. Now, financially, if I'm paying the same for both and I can sell the RPA for more, yeah, I'm going to take the RPA, make the money, and then buy the card that I'd rather have. Like, I'm not an idiot when it comes to money, but when it comes to where I attribute value to, I don't even need the rookie year card. I'm happy with a second year game used. If you take a player that has no game used auto patches in his rookie year, but has them in his second year, I don't want those rookie year cards. They're not welcome in my collection. I want the second year cards. That's where the value is, because it's game used. So it doesn't even have to be rookie year to me. That's how as as our friend Brett McGrath likes to say, be the CEO of your collection. That's how I operate as CEO of my collection. And I think I'm bringing the most value to its shareholders, and I'm the shareholder. Well, me and my kids.
I'm becoming much more comfortable with leaning into what I think and not caring at all about what other people think. And that's what you just exhibited right there with that, everything that you just said. And I love it, man. I do. But the thing that's important to remember then is that when the hobby goes the other direction, you did the thing you wanted to do because you believed it was right, not because you thought other people were going to follow along, but because you believed it was right. And that's where I'm at too. Like, I don't even care if I trade something for something else and the thing that I traded away goes way up in value and the hobby just goes crazy for it. It's tempting to like sort of second guess myself, but I've gotten more comfortable just saying to myself, you know what? No, like I did what I did because I wanted to own that thing and I stuck to my guns. But when you do that, there's nothing more empowering, man. So I love that.
Yeah, appreciate all that. And the gravy to all of it is that if you operate the way I do, you're going to have so much more money in the bank after, because you're not paying these inflated prices for, as someone said in the chat, Dick's Sporting Good patches and that kind of thing. You're still getting great looking sports cards, I would say. So, all right. That was fun. Okay. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Wow. That was all because of this flawless horizontal Luca RPA game use that I love. That to me is there's the best Luca card, everybody. All right. We've got a 1958 Alifa Boulanger Pelé rookie PSA 2.5 at $28,000. I love that for a PSA 2.5. And we've got a Steph Curry Flawless Platinum on card auto 101. Really nice card. Flawless does make such great cards right there. Adam, any comments on the Steph? Actually, we're at the bottom here. Four cards remain. I want to talk about this one for a second because this card belongs to Mr. Fosh on Instagram. He let me know this is, I think, one of the last Jordans he is selling. So he buys cards on this auction all the time and lets us know. Let's give him a bit of love. If you're looking at this card, just consider it if it's something that you were considering. 1999 Upper Deck MJ Final Floor Auto 1/1. Adam, is this a normal sized card? I think it is. This is just a standard 2.5 by 3.5, isn't it?
This is my card of the night.
All right, well, let's open it up, and why don't you get into it then? If it's card of the night, that's a big deal. Tell us about it, Adam.
I was bidding on this, Jeremy. I was trying to win this one. So
were you?
So yeah, the last time this sold for a lot more money, and there's one of these actually sold for $240,000. So in 1999, I know it can get kind of boring sometimes when I like go off on my long sort of histories of a card, but I think that it's really important on this card.
Go for it.
In 1999, Upper Deck had lots of different brands, right? Like Black Diamond and Ovation and Upper Deck and Series 2 and all that. And across all of them, they did these Michael Jordan floor cards. The regular Michael Jordan floor cards had a little bit of floor like this big, but they cut them off of the entire Utah Jazz floor, which is huge, right? The last floor that Jordan played on as a member of the Chicago Bulls. So they put them 1 in 2,500 packs. They were really hard to find. And then they realized halfway through the season, holy crap, we're going to have a lot of floor left. So in Legends, they put 1 in every box that was a jumbo card with a much bigger piece of floor on it. Then they did all these other things through the years of putting floor on things, and it was always from the same Jazz floor. The one cool thing that I would say the one coolest thing that they did though is in 1999 they made this 12-card set that had the 1 in 2,500 packs, and then 1 in way more was an autographed version that was numbered out of 23, and they did it for all 12 cards. So there's 12 different Michael Jordan floor cards that are numbered out of 23. For those same 12 cards, they made 1/1s. This is one of those 1/1s. And so, you're looking at a card from the turn of the century, right at the end of the 90s, beginning of the 2000s, a 1/1 autograph, game-used floor, the final floor that Jordan played on, and it's this iconic shot of Jordan rising up over my Utah Jazz. It's one of the 12. It's one of the coolest Jordan cards of the era, and my favorite part of it is that it may very well have come out of a base Upper Deck $2 pack of cards. I love that. And so that's the reason why it was a $250,000 card a couple of years ago. But because it's sold a couple of times recently, and you know this, Jeremy, when a 101 sells a couple times really close together, sometimes it loses some value. This is at a steep discount right now, and I wish I could afford it because I would go after it, but I'd have to give up a lot at this point to get it. But the last time it sold, it was 80, so it's nowhere near 80 right now. It's a bargain right now.
I think it's a really cool piece. That is actual floor, wooden floor. The on-card auto is beautiful. I like where he signed it. I love the 1 of 1. It's kind of burned into the wood, the Upper Deck logo, 3-point. This is all kind of burned into the wood. And then you've got this picture of him taking a shot on this floor. Like, this is the floor that he was on this game. Like, you can tell this is in Utah. That is like, that's attention to detail by Upper Deck to get that on there. I think this card's an absolute monster. I understand why it's your card of the night. The auction is not yet over. We have a little alarm there, but awesome card, Adam. Thanks for sharing all that. I think it's great, and good luck to Mr. Foch on his sale, unless he's the one that paid 80 for it. And now he's getting 52.5. That might be the case, but that's what happens with cards sometimes. Okay, let's keep on going. We got the Chet Holmgren. Did we talk about this one yet? Is this the one that we talked? Is this game used?
We talked about it just super briefly up above when we were talking about the silo. Like, this is the best Chet Holmgren card in the world. It's the NT Logo Man RPA, and because we've seen several other Chets move, it's sort of not as high. But this is where I get into the Wembanyama Chet conversation. I know people love Wemby, but like, this is the best card of Chet, the best one in the world. And so for me, you compare it to where you would think he's going to be at in terms of how good he is, and I don't know, man. Like, it's the best card in the world. You'd think that.
So, Adam, the problem is that it doesn't tell you what it is. It says the enclosed officially licensed material is not associated with any specific player, game, or event. So this, while it's got a Logo Man on it, they're telling you that they don't even know what it is. Like, they're literally saying that we don't know what we have here. Panini's terrible at card backs. You have me on record as saying that Panini is, their legal department is, or whoever's writing these things, they are but I don't even know what to say. It's embarrassing.
So to me, it's to hide that it's not game used. But here's the thing is, like, we know, again, like the Steph Curry $6 million Logo Man auto, it's not game used. It's from a photo shoot. And so this, though, doesn't look like it's from a photo shoot. This is the Dick's Sporting Goods situation, but still, and so I'm going to go back and sound like Mr. Positive here. It's still his best card in existence. It's still the Logo Man auto from the base parallel of NT. Like, this same thing of LeBron exists out of Ultimate Collection. And if it was to ever be pulled, it would be, I don't even know how many millions of dollars. So the question isn't, again, everything you said is true. It's still thought of by the high-end community as the best Chet card. And so with all that said, the only question that matters to me is, like, how good is Chet going to be? Do you think he is going to be like a big-time superstar? Or do you think he's going to be a role player? And I think he's going to be big-time.
Viewed by the high-end community as his best card. Well, the high-end community a lot of times is more worried about flexing than what they're actually buying, right? Like, a lot of times that's the case. I don't want to be super negative on all these cards right now, more than I've already been, I guess. But, to say this is his best card, right now, that's the case. I don't know what other cards he has out there, so maybe I'd agree with that. Maybe I do agree with that. I don't know what we're really selecting from, what other cards he has out there, because to me, Adam, a 1 of 1 black prism with an autograph is just as good as this. It's got an autograph. It's a nice looking card, and it it just, all it doesn't have is an imposter logo man. This is an imposter in my mind. Non-game used logo men are imposters. This they should come up with a card. They should call them imposters. Just tell us what you got here, guys. Tell the back of that card should actually say the enclosed officially licensed material is an imposter that is not associated with any specific game player or event. That's what I would say. Oh shoot, I just closed PWCC altogether now by mistake, so I got to reopen PWCC. So give me a moment to do that.
I would. So you remember that Gobert that I was telling you about earlier that I've offered like up to insane amounts of trade for? I've offered this guy 30 grand in trade for a Rudy Gobert card, which makes me insane. It's also in what you would call an imposter card because it's not game used. But again, Logo Man Auto, I don't know that there's a game used other than the few flawless ones that exist. I don't know that there is a game used Logo Man Auto in existence. The record setting Curry is not game used. The Luca that sold for $4 million is not game used. None of those cards are game used.
The card they're just so good. They are so good at tricking us, the hobby, into spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on what I'm now calling imposter. I got to write that down so I don't forget that I'm now going to be using that term more and more because I just believe it to be true.
But to take it a step further, though, and again, to sort of illustrate, it's everything. Like Chet's NT RPAs are also not game used. No NT RPAs have ever been game used. None of them are. So it's not just the logo man. It's everything. I know.
Yeah, but I'm gonna reserve the word imposter for logo men. Logo men, shields, like those 101, whether it's hockey, basketball, football, at least tops with baseball with those major league debut patches that they put on, right? That's for the game. That's game. Like that's not an imposter. That's doing it right. That's freaking perfect. I love that.
It is game used. I just, because the very first logo men RPAs ever, because the first RPAs ever, because probably 99 point something percent of RPAs ever are not game used. I don't mind. The thing that's different on this, and I just got to be really real and honest about it, is it's also not event worn. It's not from the photo shoot. And I really want the stuff to at least be from the photo shoot. I understand that that for a couple of years there, it was really tough because of COVID, that it was hard to get some of the jerseys and they got behind and some of those things. But so what's going to happen is, as we go forward, you might be right, Jeremy, that the community may sort of change and say, well, no, this isn't his best card. But I tell you, people who love a player are always going to want what is perceived as the best card. And if it's the best parallel of the best rookie card, it's generally going to be thought of as the best card. And that's what we have here.
Yeah, I think you're right, except when you say people are going to want, if you collect a player, not me. I would not want that card. And if it's not game used, I'm just going to pass. Now, I will say photo shoot is a degree better than not associated with anything. At least the player touched the jersey, wore the jersey. I mean, that's something, but then it just becomes a shirt. He's literally it's a shirt he's worn, and now we're just cutting up pieces of his shirt, like a shirt that wasn't worn in anything significant that is of any importance. May as well take off a piece of his pajamas. Hey, he slept. I'd rather probably have something that he slept in rather than something that he wore for 10 seconds at a photo shoot. But that's just me. Let's just move along for a second, Adam. I need to calm down right now. I'm really wound up on this at the moment. So I'm just gonna wind down for a second and
you're good. You're always good.
I want to talk about the Jerry Rice card. We have a Jerry Rice 86 tops rookie PSA 10, population 62, very low pop for probably the best rookie card of the 80s in football, being the Jerry Rice. No disrespect to the Joe Montana for sure. Card looks great. I always find it harder on this card to assess the centering because of those white stripes that are on the angle that aren't spaced out evenly. But this card looks to be really well centered. Edges and corners beautiful. I cannot disagree with the 10 grade that PSA gave this card, and it's at $70,000 with a PWCC top 30% eye appeal. It's interesting. They have it here, Adam, but they didn't put the little badge up here, and usually they put the badge. Like there's the badge right there, They forgot to put the badge on this listing here, but they say right here it is top 30.
Is the sticker on the back?
Let's open it up and see. Let's open up and see. Good call. Good call. Let's have a look
To
at
make
the
sure
back.
there's not an error or anything.
It is. The sticker is on the back, so it is the above average. They just forgot to put it on the listing. Simple as that.
You've been
right there.
You've been critical of one. I remember one Jerry Rice PSA 10 that you were pretty critical of, where you were like, this shouldn't be a 10. I really don't think this should be a 10. Do you feel this? How do you feel about this one? Do you feel like this one's pretty strong?
Oh yeah, I think this one's good. Personally, I think this one is good from my cursory review. If I zoom in more though to make sure I can stand by that. Well, top left corner's got something going on there. I don't know what that is, but there's something going on in the top left corner. I'm going to retract. I'm going to retract. Top right corner is not perfect as well. Coming down the edge. The edge looks nice. I see one thing that's imperfect, two imperfections, but imperfections don't mean that they're not 10s. Bottom right corner looks pretty good. Bottom edge looks good. A little bit of rough cut. Bottom left corner's good to me. Again, registration isn't perfect, but it's not worth a penalty, I don't think. Left edge is good. A little bit of a rough cut. I listen, I think it's a 10. I do still think it's a 10 because PSA just isn't very consistent with their grading. So this could be a 10, yes, but it could also be a PSA 9, I think. But it would be a very strong 9. That top left corner, when you zoom in, there's something going on there. I'd need to see it under a loop to be certain. But yeah, I think it's a 10. I do think it's a 10. You said I've been critical on one of these before. Likely due to centering. I don't remember the card, Adam. But the other thing to remember is PSA's centering standards are very loose. PSA allows 60-40 centering on the front. To me, the standard is wrong. I don't think that's the right standard. I think the standard should be 55-45, maybe 57.5, 52 or 52.5, 47.5, something like that. But 60-40 on front centering for PSA's grading standards, it allows them to give away many more 10s, and it causes people to buy inferior cards for super premiums. But that's what we like to do in this hobby is spend money, just put our money in things that don't deserve it. That's kind of where we're at in many areas. But all that said, there are some wonderful cards too that are well deserving of the money.
Just to confirm to Sean Kia, that Ant Tyrese LaMelo triple is game used, and I do think that is important and significant. Jeremy feels really strongly about it. It's important and significant. The only thing that you got to ask with that one is it's not autographed, and some people really care about the autograph, but some people view the triple logo man as the peak of the hobby, like the best of the best thing. I need that ink on the card personally. I need the ink on the card, but if you're gonna have 3 logo men, guess what? You don't have room for signatures at all.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to pick and choose what you love.
Yeah. BC Neal makes the comment, if Panini did start using only game-worn patches, would the market on older cards with, he says fake, but let's just say non-game use patches, would that market tank? And I don't know that it would. I mean, I think it should, but I don't know that it would because the hobby is, the flex is almost as important as what you're flexing. Right? Like people just want to show, what they've got, that they could afford the best card. That's how a lot of people operate. So I don't know. I think, but at the same time, I think maybe there would, I don't know about tanking because those are still, like Adam says, those are still the only options you have for that style card, for that player, for that year, whether it's rookie or not. So,
and as we've already sort of illustrated, the year that a card comes out and whether it's part of the base set, the LeBron is the best example of that I know from 03. Like collectors have shown historically that they really care. And I love what Jeremy said though, because he's made it clear that he feels something that's different than what the hobby at large feels. And when that happens, you want to lean into that as far as you can, because the best thing in the world is when you find something that's a great price that you love, more than something that's way more expensive. I mean, that's the best thing going when you can have that. But you have to also know that that's not always how the market's going to follow. And so The question is, are you going to buy what you like, or are you going to buy what you think the market's going to like? And those are different questions.
And if those intersect, then you got a winner on your hands, I would say. And the other thing to keep in mind is that the only constant is change. These things are going to change. There will be a day where I think I'm right. I think there will be a day where all this stuff that is not game used it's going to be like the junk patch era, the junk patch category of cards, because that's what it is. It's junk. It's all junk. Really. The cards are not junk, but the patches embedded in the cards are literal junk. That's what that is. So we're going to see, I think we're going to look back on this time. Not that if the card companies are able to get more game use stuff in a timely manner, and maybe with Fanatics taking over and having direct relationships, they will be able to, and they'll be able to put an end to the junk patch era that we've been into for quite some time. I do think that that's going to happen eventually. So, okay. I forget if I was going anywhere else with that, but Kid Kick says this auction feels like it's going longer than usual. Just waiting for it to end already for one card. Well, you don't have to tell us what you're waiting for, but really good luck to you. Stale Prad says game worn is better than game used, which to me, they're kind of the same thing. I don't know what the difference between game worn and game used is. I know there is a distinction there. I don't even remember what it is. I think it's so minor. And to me, it's you're using it, you're wearing it. I don't know. I mean,
I don't either.
You don't like a game. You it depends. You wear your uniform. You use your equipment. A game used stick or a game used bat has the same cachet as a game worn jersey or a game worn helmet or game worn socks or pants or whatever it is. Game used is something you use. It's your tool. Game worn is something you wear. So anyway, game worn and used is better than player worn, which is better than not associated with any event. I agree, Stale Prod. I agree completely. Thank you, Kid Kicks. Let us know what you win. If you win it when this auction is over, don't know when this auction is going to end. Mike Nanya says, LeBron Exquisite RPA is not game used either. Yeah, we've been saying that. Rather have his limited logos. Mike, thank you. That's exactly what I said, and you're regurgitating what we've already said, but I'm with you, Mike, 100%. Rather have his limited logo, same rookie year, and his game used with a bigger patch window. Yeah, exactly. Nanya. Fist pump. I'm with you. You're thinking my way. Okay. Let's go back to the bottom here, guys. There's a nice Brady at the bottom here. This is a great card. I love Ultimate Collection across all sports. And let's have a look. Where'd it go? I just opened up. Oh, I opened up the whole auction. Okay, the whole listing. Number 2 of 25. Autographed game jersey on card auto. Let's read the back of an Upper Deck card and let's see what they say about where this piece comes from. You have received a game used jersey card autographed by Tom. On the front is an authentic piece of jersey worn by Tom Brady in an official NFL game. They tell you who wore the card, which does agree to who's pictured on the front of the card. That's important. In an official NHL game. Upper Deck, back in 2003 or whenever this card is from, 2004. Thank you for telling us what this is. Instead of Panini, I don't have it open, but Panini saying this might literally be from the garage sale up the road from our offices. That's what they're telling you. Listen, I like a lot of people at Panini, and I like a lot of Panini cards that have come out. But I am willing to personally say, I will not buy another Panini. Well, I don't need to because they're getting out of the business, but I would not buy any Panini cards that say what they say on the back of those cards. Unless I had reason to believe myself that they were game used, even though they don't know what they got on their hands, then maybe I would. But in any event, this is a beautiful Tom Brady card. PSA 9, numbered out of 25. Nice, simple napkin patch here. Jersey it is what it is with mesh, at least on card auto. 2004 pop 5 6 graded higher 15,250. That's a great card. What do you think of it, Adam?
I think it's awesome. I love your comments about the old language. I think that it's clear that it made more sense from a legal perspective for them to change some of those things, even on the game use stuff, even on the stuff that they really did know where it was from. It's not as clear as it used to be. And I think it was better. The best, obviously, though, and I know you agree with me on this, is when you can identify when the jersey was actually used, which games they were used in. And the thing that's really interesting about that is with all the new sort of like progressions that the hobby's made on photo matching, there probably is a world in which we could see the date that the jersey was used and have that photo matched before they go into the cards. They could really double down on some of those things. And I promise you, collectors would absolutely love that. But the other thing that I want to point to is I think that not to beat a dead horse here, but the companies have found that a lot of these cards still sell just as well, even if they put whatever on the back, as long as the front has a patch with so many colors and is numbered to so much. And you're right about the being from the base set and, you know, being in those regular numbers. Like, those things have been the things that I think historically have mattered. But at some point, if the hobbyists stand up and say, this is what we want, and this, how they do it is what they buy and what they don't buy, then at that point, the card manufacturers will change altogether. But we haven't done that yet at all.
Well, I'm doing it. And, you know, I think if you look at when prices rose in like 2019 through 2022, a lot of people coming in were seeing dollar signs. They weren't really, you know, collectors. They were investors. They were flippers, all that sort of thing. And they were, you know, trying to ride this wave and spending hundreds of $1,000s on cards that are now selling for tens of thousands.
Yeah.
And they didn't, and they're partially responsible for all these values being attributed to these cards. Hold on. The description on the back of the Panini card that says not associated with this, or that, to me, it's like if you go buy a car and they say to you, listen, you're going to get a car, but we're not sure if the brakes are going to work. The windshield wipers, you might get one, you might get two, you might get three. We don't know. You know, like, it's like we're not really sure what we're selling you, and we're not really sure what we're selling you for all this money. But here's where here, you know, but please pay us our exorbitant prices, and because everyone else is going to pay us those exorbitant prices, we know we're going to get away with it, even though we're not really sure if the brakes are going to work on this thing. But you know what? It looks good. It's the right color. You got leather seats inside, and it comes with all the bells and whistles. I know that's a ridiculous sort of analogy, and I know it's super loose, but like, it's kind of where I'm at.
I'll say two last things on this, and then we should move on. I think the first thing that I want to say is that I love the Tom Brady jersey autograph because it says who it was worn by. Even in like the best of circumstances these days, it rarely says, I don't think it ever says who the jersey was worn by. It will say like it was guaranteed to be worn in a game or whatever, but they try to leave it as loose as they can, I think, to sort of cover them. The other thing that I want to say, and we usually, I think, do a pretty good job of this on the show. When you like something, it doesn't matter if Jeremy or I don't like it or think that it's bad or think like maybe neither one of us are going to collect cards. Like I don't have as strong a feeling on these things as Jeremy does, but like I personally find a lot of the jersey cards that were worn at photo shoots to be really cool cards. And some of them are like, I don't own a ton of them, but like there are cards that I would really like to own that are like, I'd love to own a LeBron RPA. I'd love to own that card. And there's a lot of those cards, the stuff that's in this auction. I would love to own that card. But whenever you find that you like something, even if an expert doesn't like it, still like it. Like don't change your feelings on what you like, and don't ever let somebody who, like, if you win a card and you just think it's like the coolest thing ever, don't ever let somebody else make you feel like it's dumb or bad, because I've done that before. I've won something and then had people who I
unless you now like, I hear what you're saying, and I agree with you. Like, love what you love, collect what you love, but also be open to information and education and learning details of things, because like I'm always being influenced by people that give me more information. So if you're listening to me, and don't, you know, expert or not, I'm just somebody who's been collecting cards my whole life. If you hear me say something and it's against what you're collecting right now, it's kind of, you know, it doesn't jive with what you're collecting or what you like. I hear what Adam's saying, but consider it if you haven't if you've already thought about these things and you still like what you like, that's great. But I mean, I might like something and then someone say, yeah, but Jeremy, you know, this card, it's that, or this is the issue with that card. I didn't really realize, I never thought about it. My God, you're right. I don't like it anymore. Like, I'm willing to turn on a dime if I'm brought new information or I'm brought to think about something in a new way. But other than that, I completely agree with what Adam's saying. And sorry, Adam, I interrupted you, so please go back to it.
Education is different than poo-pooing something.
Right. Well,
so you can educate somebody and say this is something that you might not have known, and that's always appropriate. But what I'm talking about is a lot of times somebody will convince you that something sucks just because they don't like it, and that's dumb, and we shouldn't do that.
Yeah, and so I mean, no one's going to convince me that something sucks because they don't like it. If it's got to do with design or that sort of thing, like I don't love the legacy, the vertical Kobe card. I don't love the looks of that card, and you might love it, Adam, but you're not because you love it. It's not going to convince me to love it. That's what we're talking about, and I completely agree with that. Right? Like, don't let me, because I don't like the looks of a simple card.
But even education can be taken this way, right? Because you look at something and you could be like, I hear what you're saying. You look at something and you'd be like, but you really need it to be in this certain condition, and it's not. Or you really need it to be you really need it to be from playing days, and it's not. Or it really should be from this brand, and it's like it's done in this way of education. Bottom line is, like, it's a hobby, and you should like what you like. You should be educated. I'm not going to, of course, like, everything that we do is about education. Both you and me, like, that's what we're here for. But don't ever let somebody talk you out of something just because it's like they have a value that you don't. You might value something, like I value certain things that some people I know think are crazy, and I just don't care. Like, I don't care if people like it or they don't like it. And I think that everybody should be that way, because you should, if you want to collect Rudy Gobert, the worst investment ever in the NBA, and you want it to be this card that other people think is dumb, and what, like, people look at me sometimes, Jeremy, like, why do you buy cards of him? Those will never go up. They look at me like they're educating me.
That's
educating me. I know that.
That's also the Instagramification of the hobby, where everything's about value and going up. Like that's Instagram in a nutshell, pretty much what you just said there. You know, a lot of story posts that we see is just all about what something's worth and not why you like something. I like when I see an Instagram post and it's just a picture of the card, I'm not too likely to follow that account. I want to hear, why did you buy that card? Tell me the story why you like it. I find that to be very interesting, because you might say something that's going to spark something in me, and I'm going to go down a new rabbit hole and find something new to collect, because you've turned on the light for me, is what you've done. So for me, talking about whether it's patches or like this whole thing on the game used aspect of memorabilia within cards, you know, it's more or less me turning on the light for people who've been blinded by the spell. It's a similar spell that we're under with PSA 10s. It's just a spell. It's cult-like. It's truly cult-like. People aren't thinking for themselves. How could we just know they're not? So it's similar to that with the game use stuff. But I completely agree. You know, it comes back to that. Which card was it? I'm going to show you the card I'm talking about. That Adam, and I know I'm in the minority, and I don't care. I know so many people love the looks of this card right here, the Flair Showcase Legacy Collection Row Zero. People love the looks, the aesthetic of this card. Even in Flair Retro Hockey, when it came out again, people love them. I don't love them, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't. Don't let me talk about what you like. Just like we all like different foods, we all have different tastes in romantic partners. We all have different tastes in cars and different things. I don't like the looks of this. Me saying that, I'm never going to try and convince anyone not to like it. I've never done that, and I never did that tonight, and I won't. But I will talk about things that I think are important, that I feel passionate about. I'm not going to stop being passionate about it, even if it's in the face of the 95% of the hobby. I don't care, because I've been doing this long enough to feel like I'm entitled to my own opinion on these things, and I'm willing to share them. And if if anybody watching here doesn't like what I'm saying, that goes for PWCC, Panini, Fanatics, Upper Deck, PSA, anybody from any of those companies don't like what I have to say about these things. That's okay. You don't have to like it. Let me know if you don't like it. We'll talk about it. I'm happy to talk about it. Convince me otherwise. You won't be able to, but you can try.
Good thoughts.
Couple comments. Let's go to a couple comments here. Jay Giuliano says, don't knock the legal team. They carefully described that the origin of the patch is largely unknown. They did a good job. They're probably very good at what they do, but they're not, but they're not telling us what we're buying. And that's where I have the issue. We just don't know what we're getting. And gosh, when you spend this kind of money, you should know what you're getting. Yit says, what's super cool at Topps baseball is that a lot of the game used jersey cards have holograph sticker, which tells you which game and could get specific even to the pitch. I think that's super cool. If that's true, that to me is unbelievably important. And that I see value in that. Some people don't. Some people don't care if the patch is game used or it's from Dick's Sporting Goods. They just don't care. I care. USMNT Soccer Card says, if a patch isn't associated with anything, what is it doing on the card? I'll tell you what it's doing on the card. It's extracting money from the hobby. That's its sole purpose, is to extract money from the collectors and the buyers and give it to the card companies. That's what it's doing on the card. I think we all definitely understand that, though. And thank you, Mike Nunya, for appreciating our passion. Yeah, we are both passionate about. And listen, me and Adam, we like different things. We see certain things differently, but we do it with respect. We don't like, we're good friends. We understand that we see things differently, and we love that about each other, and that's all good. I just might get a little crazier than he does. I'm a little bit more animated than Adam is. He's a very professionally presentable person.
It depends on the day. When I was listening to that SGA conversation from a year ago today, because I wanted to pick out some audio from it and put it in a reel, just to be like, look, this is something that we were thinking about a year ago, and this is the conversation. So it was really a fantastic conversation. But I listened to it and I was like, you know what? I don't really like how I sounded in this situation. I don't like that I sounded like I was very emotional about it. I was like, I just think you're wrong, Jeremy. And I was super emotional about it. And sometimes one thing that I hope people understand is, like, Jeremy and I are two guys that are both CPAs, ironically. We're both obviously pretty educated people, have had like corporate or business careers for a long time. And both of us have left those careers so that we can do cards, right? And when we say do cards, some people mean like buying and selling cards. Jeremy does like easily the coolest show here on YouTube that really educates, like really truly educates the hobby. Does an amazing job of it, fantastic job. And he does like more shows and more good guests than anybody, right? And if you watch any of my reels on Instagram, you're going to notice, oh man, like Adam spends a ton of time doing these things. Like, we really do care about these things, but we're not professionals in terms of like our background on how to do these things. And so I know I speak for Jeremy. When I say we're both still learning how to do some of these things, and how we present things, and how we like create some of the content that we create. And I don't know if I speak for you on this, Jeremy, but there's times where I look back and I go, gosh, I wish I would have done that a little bit different than how I did it.
I mean, I appreciate the comments. And one thing that I know because all I do is live streams. I don't do any pre-recorded. If I've got 1,200 hours of myself out there in content, which I probably do over 550 live streams now, about at least 2 hours on average. I've probably got like 5 hours of pre-recorded stuff out there. It's all live stream. So I only get one take. Once it's out there, it's out there. I'm gonna say things that I'm not going to agree with later. I'm gonna say something at the 30th minute and something else at the 90th minute that might be conflicting because I'm not thinking it through. It's on the spot. It's on the fly. I allow myself to do those. I know that's going to happen. That's the nature. Let's just see. 5 seconds left is a bit. Oh, there's another reset. I know it's the nature of what I do, that I'm not going to be 100% accurate and consistent in everything I say all the time. That's the nature of doing over 500 live streams over 4+ years now. But one thing I can say is that very rarely can I look back and say, I wish I said something different. Like, I'm pretty much willing to back everything I've ever said. And if anybody out there doesn't like it, I mean, that's okay. I don't really care that much. If somebody, I got lots of people that love what I do. I got a handful of people too that don't like me at all. I got people that don't like me for whatever reason, and that's okay. I mean, you're not gonna satisfy everybody all the time. But what I do know, and this is the test for me. The test is, and I've said it before, can I go to sleep at night feeling good about what I've done today? Can I go to sleep at night knowing that I represented myself, my family, me and my family? Have I represented us well? The Sports Cards Live brand, have I represented us well? And I can't think, maybe there's one or two things where I'm like, but I mean 1 or 2 things over 550 plus shows. That's it. I'm pretty good with what I've put out there. So, that said, do I love the sound of my voice? No, right? Do I like when there's certain things happen here and there? Probably not, but I'm willing to stick with what I've done so far, Adam. And but also with I think a lot of what you're saying is like, we do evolve as content creators and we do get better at our craft over time. And but also if you don't start at point 0, you're never going to get to point 10 or 20 or 30. So you gotta make your mistakes along the way. But I'm okay with making mistakes. That's the thing. You have to be okay with not being perfect all the time.
Great thoughts.
Here's a comment from Cast99, says there's no excuse for, okay, hold on. We might have an excuse here, Cast, but let's read the whole thing. There's no excuse for Upper Deck not to have game use patches on the Cup hockey RPAs since the Cup release is so delayed well into or after the rookie player season. That's completely false, Cast99. You are completely wrong about that. There actually is an excuse. There's a very good reason for it. And I can just tell you that I know for a fact there's good reasons for it. Part of it is that, well, there were supply chain issues in our world a couple of years ago that took a long time to work themselves out. But the other thing is that these cards are made oftentimes. There's a process involved in creating the cards, sending them to the players to get autographed. They have to go out. They have to come back in. They have to be produced. There actually are really good excuses for it, Cass. So just try to be more open-minded if you can. And I'm probably not the best at explaining it, but the guys from Upper Deck have explained it on my show. They've explained it on the Hockey Cards Gong show. They've explained it on the Center Ice Cardcast, and there is actually really good reasons for it. Now, what I do see, and where we're not going to be lucky in hockey because we are not owned by Fanatics like the other 3 sports are, is that they can't force the teams to do that. And the other issue I think is that if we were to go to that, the cards would be released a lot later, and that would piss off a lot of people too. Never mind how late they're already released. So there is an excuse for it. Is it solvable? Maybe, but that's going to come with other negatives, which is the cards not being released until even later than they already are. So, but there is an excuse for it. Adam, anything entering your mind?
I'm looking at the leaderboard and the cards that are recently getting bids. One of the things that I like is that you can go through and you can actually sort by most recent bids. And you were opining on the Holmgren earlier and saying that you felt like, man, that's a card that the brand, you wouldn't think it would matter quite as much. I think, not to put words in your mouth. It's at 71.25. I think when we were looking at it earlier, it was like $4,000. So that has seen quite a bump since we were looking at it.
Okay, very nice. Very nice. So yeah, now we're sorted by most recent bid. Looks like Tatum is getting some action. The 101 auto from Prism, the black Prism. The Chet. See, this to me, like I'd way rather have this, even though I'm not a huge black 101 guy. I'd way rather have this over the logo, man. Believe it or not, Adam. Like personally. Kobe, finest refractor with coating, up to 40K. What did we say? Pop 17 or pop 14? Like this is a super low pop.
When we were looking at it earlier, I think it was like 20. And so it's gotten close to doubling if it hasn't doubled. But the other thing that I'm noticing, Jeremy, is if you look at the leaderboard, like we've seen very little movement. The 1980 tops is up to 410, which out the door is close to 5.
Yeah.
Not quite to 5, but close to it. And then the Jordan Fusion Gold is exactly where we started the night at. Hasn't gone up at all.
Yeah. So we're 410 on the Magic Larry, 150 on the Jordan Fusion Titanium and the Steph NTRPA.
And I really did, and it seems like we're winding down here. It seems like I'm going to be wrong on this. I really thought the Wemby, I didn't think it would touch the black. I thought it would get to that 175 to 220 range. In fact, somebody who I really trust told me today he put the over at 170, and I was like, man, I think you're low. I think it's going to be higher than that. And right now, he's looking like he was right, and that it's going to actually be under his under.
150. It's 150 out the door right now, and we haven't seen action on it for a while. I mean, we started the night at 100, and now it's at 125, so it has gone up. The Chet Logo Man's at 120. The triple Logo Man, so this is not game used. These are the game used Logo Men are up to 82.5. Different players, of course, different card. Jerry Rice is up to 70K. The MJ Floor card 52.5. And this Ty Cobb has gone up quite a bit. I think this was I feel like it was under 20 when we looked at it last. Now it's at 50. I could be wrong about where we started, but 50 grand on that.
Look at this. The story of the night's becoming this Kobe Finest refractor. Just got a bid at 52.5.
52.5 right there. Look at that. Low population.
Well, and not only that, but we talked about the greening. Like some of these have quite a bit of green on it. And you were saying that you didn't see any green in his skin at all.
I don't see, no, I can confirm. I mean, I'll look at it again to make sure I wasn't seeing things before, but like there's zero greening on his right arm. His left arm is there. I'm seeing something right here. I don't know if that's just skin tone or right near the armpit. If there's a little bit there, I think the pop is 17, Zach. I think it's 17 on the Kobe. We looked earlier, 17 or 14. No greening on his legs at all. No greening on the uniform. I mean, I don't think that's greening right there, Adam. Do you see that? Can you see that difference in color right there?
This is the hardest thing for me. I just can't see the green.
You can't see it. So I don't know if that's green or if it's not. I don't think it is, but it might be. So I'm going to go with no greening overall. Like I'm 95%. I'll go 80% certain no greening on this card.
And your favorite James Harden got a bid too. It's up to 14,000 now.
Yeah.
I get it. I do. I get it. It's fun to sort of have something that comes up that you can look at it and say, okay, that's not his best card, but it's not his most valuable card, but it's something that's closer to it. And I like seeing Harden in that Thunder uniform too, just because it's been so long, and he's had that giant beard for so long. It's hard to remember when he was viewed as like this big time athlete that would run down the lane and dunk on people.
Kobe's up to 20,250 on the All-Star patch auto. Beautiful. Gold shimmer Wembanyama, 20,250. This might be the steal of the night right here. I mean, if this is...
We might be done. Oh, no, we're not.
No, we're not done. This might be a steal of the night, this Jordan SGC 9.5. I mean, it looks 10 quality to me, like PSA 10. I could easily see PSA giving this card a 10. You know, maybe it has to be the right day. Love this Kobe. Credentials is beautiful. Second year Larry at 16.5. Great card.
You're right about that, MJ. Like, it is from an eye appeal perspective. Like, if that this is what I always do, and I know that this is the wrong way to do it for several reasons, but like, could you see that in a PSA 10 holder?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Exactly. I could. Yep.
It absolutely could be. But that's why, and again, I agree. We don't totally agree on several things that we've talked about tonight, but I agree with your idea of like the spell on the hobby about PSA. Like, I don't get it, and I love PSA. I do. I've got several of my biggest cards are in PSA holders. I enjoy PSA, but I will never understand why one of these is worth so much more. Oh, is it over?
Auction just ended. Yeah. The auction has ended, everybody. Congratulations on your sales. Congratulations on your purchases. Hope you're all happy with how things went for you tonight. If you were in on the action, Adam, why don't we run through the first 10 or so cards and just see what the top sellers were? Let's do that. We got the number one spot by a long shot is the PSA 10 1980 Larry Bird Magic Johnson rookie card selling for a whopping $492,000 right there. In second place, a tie. The Michael Jordan molten metal fusion titanium out of 40 and PSA 8, 180,000, as well as the Steph Curry NT out of 25 RPA, also selling for $180,000. In the 4 spot is it came in the under 170, Adam, the Wembanyama Prism Gold BGS 9.5 sells for $150K. I love that card. The Chet Holmgren NT Logo Man Rookie 101 Auto sells for $144,000, and the triple Logo Man with Anthony Edwards, Tyrese Halliburton, and LaMelo Ball sells for $99,000. Then we have the Jerry Rice 86 Topps Rookie PSA 10 sells for $84K. The Michael Jordan Floor Auto does $63,000, and this beautiful Ty Cobb T206 sells for $60,000. The Nanina Ferenc Puskas sells for $51,600. The story of the night, according to Mr. Adam Gray, is and I agree, the finest refractor with coating, Kobe Bryant PSA 10 sells for $63K, while the Michael Jordan Star 101 BGS 8.5 sells for $45,600. Connor McDavid Cup RPA BGS 9 2 color. Really important. This is not a great comp to compare anything else to, guys, because only I think 3 of the 99 are 2 colors. The rest are 3 colors. It sells for $43,200. A great entry level for 43 grand for a Connor McDavid Cup RPA. The NT Silver Hollow Patrick Mahomes out of 25 sells for $43,200, and a National Treasures Anthony Edwards BGS 9 RPA does $40,800. And we'll just kind of scroll past the rest of the auction. The LeBron limited logos game used sells for $30,000. PSA 6 Star MJ 101 $29,100. Perhaps the best value of the night might be this Michael Jordan card. Like, financially speaking, this might be the best value of the night. SGC 9.5 getting no respect, and I just don't think, that's just ridiculous, but it is what it is. And so on and so forth, everybody. A comment comes in from Zach Swisher. He says, maybe it's a mix of cards. I'm not sure. Does this auction feel like it wasn't that strong? No, not to me. This is where the hobby is at right now. I think this is where the Premier Auction is. 70 single cards. There were 108 items in the auction tonight between adding in wax and other Pokemon. But $500,000 for this card here, like $180K for these cards here. It almost, like, this is nothing against the comment that was just made, but it almost blows my mind that we say that, was this not strong? These pieces of cardboard are selling for tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, I was debating on bidding on a card today, and then realized, Adam, you're going to spend $70,000 if you do that. Like, that's significantly more than my car's worth, right? And I almost bought it today. So we've gotten numb to the numbers, is what's happened. Like, a card sold for $500,000 today, and it's not a big deal.
I think this was a strong auction, because look, like, even this. Sorry, Adam, but even this Ty Cobb for $60K. Yeah, that seemed 84 on this Jerry Rice. I think that's a good price. I think that's a healthy valuation on that card. I think these numbers are extremely strong. I don't care what they sold for in the past. These numbers are extremely strong.
The Wemby, the one that I sort of like I did a reel today that I asked the question, like, is this going to be in the same group as these other, as the Luca and the LeBron 2012? And I thought based on the black shimmer, I really did think that this was going to get there. In that way, this disappointed, but in another way, I look at it and I go, that is a rookie card of somebody who's really popular, but like, it's a rookie card of a guy, there's 10 of them and it sold for $150,000. Like, that's a really big number.
I remember, we are so kind of blinded by the last 5 years. If you would have looked at these prices, if you go back to as recent as 2018 and you say to yourself, cards are going to sell for these numbers, you get laughed at. You would just get laughed at. I remember 2010. It was 2010. I'm at a card show up here in Canada, and a friend of mine says to me, "Hey, I want to buy John Tavares Cup RPA at a 99. And, if you find one, let me know." Well, lo and behold, I found one. It happened to be like one of the best patches possible. I called him. I said, "Listen, this card is here. What do you want to spend? What do you want me to get it for you? Like, I'll buy it. You just got to pay me back." He goes, I'm thinking he's going to want to buy like for $1,800, $2,000, big money back then for a card, right? He goes, I'll give him $4,000 for the card. I'm like, really? Are you sure you want to spend $4,000 on that card? Which is basically like the equivalent of nowadays the this one right here for $43,000. I thought the guy was kind of crazy. I'm like, really? $4,000. And now here we are. Now that was 2010. Here we are 14 years later, and it's 10 times the price. And it's $44,000 now, and we're not even batting an eyelash. We're saying, don't look at that as a serious comp. It's only 2 colors, right? It's only 2 colors. There's even more. It could be a 3 color for $80 or $100 or $150,000. Like, it's crazy. So, I have trouble saying that the hobbies that it's not a strong auction. And I know it might not be strong compared to 2 years ago. We know that. But to me, it's fine. If it's fine. To me, it's fine. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little too easy on the hobby. I don't know. Chris Swanee says PWCC did not give an eye appeal to that 86 Fleer Jordan. Yeah, I think that is probably worthy. Well, it is. The centering is low. It is not perfectly centered, but it's still PSA 10 worthy. So I can see that they didn't do that, Chris. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that it doesn't technically grade a 10 by PSA. Stale Prod says the Mahomes was a decent sale price. Yeah, I see. I think this auction was fine.
What did the Mahomes go for?
Got to find it. Probably up higher, right? It's going to be up higher.
I think the last time I saw it was at 27.
43,200.
I'll tell you, I didn't really get to talk about that one. I love that card with the holofoil. And I know I always go on and on about holofoil, but I've seen probably 20 of these cards that are out of 99 without the holofoil, and I've seen just a few with, and it is so much better. I would take the lower patch quality. Honestly, I would rather have one of those than 2 of the 99. I know that people are going to think that's heresy, but it is so much nicer, Jeremy.
Well, but what you're talking about is totally fair. What you're talking about is what you prefer. We're not talking about the money. We're talking about the cards that we like. And Adam, you do talk a lot about holofoil, but don't stop. Holofoil is the bee's knees. It is a difference maker in a card being, I like it, but to being, this thing's gorgeous. Like, that's holofoil is that difference. It has to be on a nicely designed card, but holofoil, you keep on talking about it because it's important.
Holo on its own doesn't make a card, but the saying that I like to use, I love these words, is it brings the whole card together. Like, it makes it feel like it was put together in the right way on that Mahomes. The regular, I forget if it's silver or gold. I'm not trying to poo-poo it. It's just, it doesn't feel nearly as premium. It doesn't. It's not close.
Yeah, I agree. Zach Swisher says maybe it's the mix of cards offered compared to the last few months of auctions, which is, so I maybe misinterpreted Zach's original comment, thinking the results weren't as strong. But okay, we've already talked about that. But if he's talking about the mix of cards offered not being as great of a selection, like, I do so many of these, I can't remember which cards are in which auctions, as well as maybe Adam can, but I thought there were some good cards. One thing I like to do is how many 6-figure sales were there, like kind of divide it up that way. So 6-figure wise, we have about 6. We'll count 99K as being 6 figures. We've got 6 cards that sell for $100,000 or more. To Zach, and if you want to look at like how many $100,000 sales were there last month, the month before, and then I would look at how many were like 80 plus and how many were 60 plus, and etc. That's how I would do that. But to me, Zach, I didn't notice that, but I'm not saying you're wrong. I just didn't notice it myself. What about you, Adam?
No, I feel similar. I kind of don't remember from month to month. I think about specific cards, but a lot of it, like I've had people ask me recently, like, how do you keep up with so many different auctions, and how do you look at so many different things? It's because I don't always I don't remember everything afterwards. One thing I like to do, though, this is kind of an interesting practice, is to look at the cards that are 6 figures, and then look at the cards that you think, I thought that was going to finish in 6 figures, and see if there's a difference. There's nothing really that didn't end in the 6 figures this month that you really thought definitely would. You know, the Rice we've seen sell for less than this. The Jordan sold 3 months ago or 6 months ago for 80. You didn't think that the Cobb would sell for that much. The next row, like, no, none of those.
None of them. None of them. You're right. No, I agree. USMNT, not as many big cards being auctioned compared to years past. And this is a good thing, though. This is a good thing. It might not be so good for PWCC because they don't earn as much commission, and that's how they run their business. But for the overall hobby, I think it's good that people are holding their good cards. They're not just recycling them over and over again. And a game of hot potato on some of these things. You know, when the market was rising in early 2020, Kobe dies early 2020, pandemic really takes hold, in about the end of Q2, right? May, June, July, the pandemic takes hold, and then things go crazy in that second half of 2020, and they continue to go crazy through 2021, right? I mean, that's when people were like, okay, I'm going to sell my card now for 10 times what I paid for it 3 years ago. Yeah, let's get it. Let's sell it. That's why we saw so many cards come for sale, because people were just taking profits off the table. Makes a lot of financial sense. Those people were very smart selling into that bull rush, right? And now you're more nervous to sell your cards because you're not sure where the market's going. So it takes an extra level of savvy to be able to know what to sell now than it did back then. Back then, everybody was making money. Now you got to be a little bit smarter and more strategic, I think. So I agree with the comment.
Let me add a couple more things that I think are interesting. So I said that the Kobe Finest was maybe like the sell of the night. I think that's true. I didn't have that pegged where it sold at all. And it's a sign of something, right? I mentioned that the Kobe credentials we haven't seen in a 9 for a while, and to see the 9 sell, really pretty well, and having where we haven't seen it in a while, like that's interesting. What wasn't in this auction tonight? Well, 2 cards that we talk about being in so many different auctions are what? The Jordan PSA 10, didn't have one tonight, and the Brady Contenders Champ Ticket, didn't have one tonight. Those cards are all really cool cards that people really want. But what happens, and this is a tale as old as time. You see one sold, and then you think, as somebody who owns it, I want to sell it because I want to capitalize on this market. And then people see the market falling, and then you see a lot more sales happen. And the economics here is really interesting, because then in our minds, in collectors' minds, we're like, oh, that thing's not as cool as it was a little while ago. Oh, I don't want that thing as much. Why? It's the exact same thing. It's just that you're seeing it at market. And then what happens is people then stop listing them. And that's where we are in the case of a lot of these things. So a really nice Kobe Finest refractor goes up. It's like, we haven't seen one of those in a while. Or this EX goes up, and you're like, oh, that actually sold pretty well. And then maybe some of those other cards, we don't like. What if we don't see a champ ticket for 6 months or a year? People are going to look around and go, remember that used to be $1 million card, and then went all the way down. What's it worth now? I feel like that's where we are with the LeBron RPA, because Jeremy, for a while, we saw lots of LeBron RPAs. How long has it been since we've seen a LeBron RPA in the Premier? It's been a while.
Because all the ones that we're selling for 300,000, 4, 5, 6, 7, 800, that million, 1.2 million. People don't want to lock in a loss now and sell it for 180K or 200.
It's not appetizing. It's not appetizing anymore, and so they don't want to sell it. And here I am, like, if a LeBron RPA popped up, it's the right price and went a little bit, maybe went a little bit low. Like, I could see myself getting into one right now. You know what's not going to happen, though? It's not going to happen like that this time, because next time it sells, it's going to sell really well, because there's other people out there like me who are like, it's been a while since we've seen one.
Yeah, especially if it sells really well and still under, the last cluster of comps. So all right, guys, we're kind of up on 3.5 hours, Adam. So, But you have any final thoughts? I think you were about to say something else there.
It's always a pleasure to do the show. I don't take it for granted. It's been, how long has it been? What episode are we on?
Well, it's been over 3 years now of doing this show. So this might be episode 37, I think, or so of the Premier Auction once a month for over 3 years now. Yeah.
We've spent certainly over 100 hours together recording the show, and definitely hundreds of millions of dollars have been spent on while we've been doing the show on cards. And I don't know if that metric means anything or it's important, but I feel like I learn something every time we're here. And it's fun to see people win things. We didn't have anybody in the chat tonight say that they won anything. I hope somebody won something cool that was in the chat. I hope some people are selling something so that they can fund other big purchases. I was helping a friend work with some stuff where he bought a huge card and he was selling some smaller stuff to get there. I love to see people doing their things, right? Positioning themselves. And I thought about doing that tonight on that Jordan before I chickened out. I'm sort of regretting it now a little bit, but it's just all fun. And I love doing it. And it's always fun doing the show with you, man.
Yeah, same here, man. There's always more cards to buy. I never feel bad when I miss out on a card. The initial disappointment that lasts about 10 seconds. I'm like, all right, there's gonna be more cards. Funny thing happened to me earlier today on another platform. I wanted to buy a card, and I thought I missed getting my bid in. The guy who was selling it, I wrote to him. I said, I'm sorry, I missed. I knew it was whose card. I go, I didn't get my bid in. I was messing with my max and I didn't get it in on time. Well, it just so happened that I actually did. And then I'm like, sorry, I thought I didn't get it in on time. So I'm like, it's okay. I don't really care. There's more cards out there. I'm okay. I already had one. It was an upgrade on the patch anyway, blah, blah, blah. Then I found out, I looked at I did buy the card. I did win the card. Okay. So I kind of went through all sorts of different phases there of being like, am I going to buy this card? And then, shoot, I missed out on it. I didn't get my bid on time. Damn it. To I did win the card. These emotional roller coasters that we go on. But my point is that, you know what, Adam, there's always more cards to buy. You didn't spend 60 grand on a card tonight. You'll find another card you like just as much for 60 grand.
Did you read my shirt tonight?
Until right now I haven't. I have too many basketball cards. Said no one ever. Yeah. And you can exchange basketball for whatever sport you love. Although basketball is pretty darn popular. So
my mom bought this for me for last Christmas. So
that's nice. That's fun.
Anyway.
Gift. All right. Thank you, Zach. You have a great night too. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Thank you, Adam, as always. Thank you, PWCC, for allowing us to do these shows. Adam, thank you as always. Fun show. Hope I didn't offend anybody tonight. I know I got a little animated and passionate along the way, but that's okay. If anyone, seriously, if anyone has any rebuttal to anything that I've said that I was really strong about, let me know. I want to hear reasons why I might not be right, because if I'm not thinking of something and you present me with that piece of information, I'm going to do a 180 and I'm going to say, wait a sec, I didn't think of that. That's your version, your theory on this issue makes more sense than the one I've been writing so far. So I'm going to trade mine for yours now. You don't have to take mine. I'm going to trade mine for yours. We're going to share yours, and I'm going to look at it differently now. I'm willing to look at things differently. I'm not stubborn like that. If there's something that, if you bring me information, so please let me know. Send me a DM, send me an email. Let me know if you think that I was a little crazy about anything tonight, or I was offside or unfair. Let me know. I want to hear it, please. Professor says, great take-home messages, Jerry, man. Thank you, Professor. Thank you for being here as always. Guys, we're going to end this. So final thank you. It's Thursday night. Have a great Friday tomorrow, end of the week. The weekend is upon us, and we will see you all here on the PWCC Premier Show next month as well. That's it. Adam, say goodbye.
Bye.
This episode of the PWCC Premier Auction Extended Bidding Watch Party is now